This has been Big Ten College Countdown, presented by Genesis Motor America.
Welcome to Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. Today in Seattle for the 116th time, it's Washington versus Washington State. On this day, there is no in-between. You're either purple for the Huskies or you are crimson for the Cougars. Each side quite familiar with what's on the line. The Apple Cup is what's at stake. It is the first time the game has taken place in September, but it does come with a familiar feeling. The most hated rival awaits on the other side. And here come the Cougars. Thanks for being with us. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Paul Burmeister alongside Colt McCoy. The feeling and the scene that comes with this kind of Saturday really defines college football and why we love it. You know it very well. All those games against Oklahoma and Texas A&M. What usually wins on a day like this?
Rivalry games are awesome. The energy is incredible, right? Winning these type of football games is how you get remembered. But you got to control your emotions, right? Everybody's going to be juiced up, right? The players, the fans, it's electric. But it still comes down to execution, right? Especially early in this game. Protecting the football, avoiding those pre-snap penalties, that's going to be key.
I think you're kind of referencing the quarterbacks there. We've got a real contrast in style with experience as well. Let's begin with a veteran. Will Rogers, 4 years at Mississippi State, just getting started at Washington.
Yeah, he is great, right? He's played a ton of football. He's seen a lot of football. He's a leading passer in Mississippi State history, right? He's pretty accurate. He's poised. He plays in rhythm, and he doesn't put the ball in harm's way very often, so I'm excited to watch him play.
He hasn't thrown an interception yet this year. No surprise with the way he played in the SEC. Other side, we find John Mateer. He plays a completely different kind of game, and it's only his third start.
John Mateer, what jumps off the tape is he is a great athlete, right? The guys love him. The coaches rave about him. He's earned the respect of all the guys on that football team. Now listen, he's still developing as a passer. We're going to have to see a little bit more from him in the passing game, but his strength is definitely as a runner. And this Washington defense is pretty good. He's got a tough test ahead of him.
And the Huskies await to come out on the field. A lot of purple in the stands here in Seattle. Okay, there's some things different today. It's a non-conference battle. It's in September, and we're off campus. But there still is all that history, all that feeling that comes with Washington against Washington State. The Apple Cup awaits. Kickoff on the other side of the break. Welcome to Big Ten Saturday on Peacock, presented by Geico. Moments away from Washington and Washington State. Some change to this rivalry. For more, we go to the sidelines and Zora Stevenson.
Well, thanks, Paul. A different backdrop today than what we're used to for the Apple Cup. Over 100 years, and this is the very first time the game has ever been played in September. Most of the games are around Thanksgiving in November, some in October, but never September. Typically, cold temperatures and a chance of snow is what you'll deal with when Washington and Washington State play. The game in 1992 was called the Snow Bowl. Washington State head coach Jake Dickert sees the early matchup as a good test for his football team. Dickert said a Week 3 rivalry game can springboard your team. And with a win against Texas Tech last week, the Cougars are now playing 2 Power 4 schools at the beginning of their schedule, something they don't normally do. Coach Dickert called this a unique challenge. He also said fans will appreciate a forecast with no chance of snow.
Yes, we appreciate that as well. Take a look at that temperature in the low 60s. Might rain, but could sprinkle a little later. It is Seattle, so you expect that, in the wind inside of 10 miles per hour should not be an issue either. Jedd Fisch in his first season as the head coach at Washington. What a job he did in Tucson at Arizona. Took that team from 1 win to 10 in a matter of 3 years, and that earned him the job here in Seattle as the head coach at Washington. Both teams come in a perfect 2-0, and neither team has been tested yet. Closest margin of victory here for both teams, 21 points. They did it for the first time in 1900. Welcome to the Apple Cup. Leighton Smithson takes the knee. And Washington State's offense out first. The starting lineups delivered by Papa John's. And for Washington State, they haven't had the wholesale changes, Colt, that Washington has had offensively, but there is a new quarterback, a new running back. Top 2 receivers are gone, and so far they've been leaning on the running game.
They sure have. And a lot of it comes off the legs of number 10, John Mateer. He was pretty much their run threat last week against Texas Tech.
I'd say he was a little more than kind of the run threat. He almost went for 200 yards. Most by a Washington State quarterback since the mid-'80s. Javenski Schlembaker, the back, quickly out of his hands, and quickly a first down for the Cougars. Out to the 44-yard line goes Josh Meredith, and they gain a 19. John Mateer quickly on the ball. We take a look at his numbers and what he has done in his 2 starts. It has been mostly about the ground game, and he hands off this time inside to Javenski Schlembaker. He picks up 3, and a flag comes out as John wanted to move quickly. And look at that, the yellow box, 252, best among all FBS quarterbacks through 2 games. And again, 197 of those came last week.
That's a pretty good start for John Mateer, right? We talked about getting him a couple easy completions early in this game.
After the play, there are fouls on both teams. Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 8. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 18. That 15-yard, those penalties will offset. Replay, it'll be second down.
Yeah, just look like these 2 guys are, this is what happens in rivalry games, right? You get your energy levels are high, you're kind of fighting a little bit. Ref says, no, we're not going to play that way today. Good call by the refs there.
Empty backfield for John Mateer, quickly out of his hands again, and the whistles blew just before we got the snap of the flag out. Maybe movement here against Cal Williams.
5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, it just looks like you're going to get a little movement here by number 61, Christian Hilborn. Pre-snap, yep. Again, we talk about avoiding those pre-snap penalties, right? These rivalry games, everybody is juiced up.
Even a guy in his 29th consecutive start, that's Christian Hilborn. Wayshawn Parker, true freshman tailback to the left of Mateer. He's already 1 for 1. Eyes downfield, make it 2 for 2. Josh Meredith with his 2nd first down grab, and this one puts Washington State inside of Husky territory. And they continue to operate with pace. They are right back on the ball. Mateer starts out 2 for 2. So they wanted to make him throw instead of run, and he's throwing awfully well. From the pocket, chased out. Mateer lets that one fly and just lives to see second down.
Yeah, this is what we talked about going into this game, right? If you're Washington, you just don't want to let number 10, John Mateer, get out of the pocket. Nice escape. Great throw to Josh Meredith outside the pocket. Starting him 2 for 2. Pretty good start for Washington State.
Meredith off to a hot start, just like his quarterback. Second down 10 now on the 38. Wayshawn Parker for the first time, not much there. He gets 1 yard to bring up 3rd down and 9. Take a look at the Washington defense. Jake Dickert, head coach for Washington State, said the part about this team that concerns him the most is the front 7. Big-time experience at linebacker with Alfonso Tuputala and also Carson Bruner. More flags come out before the snap.
Offside. Defense number 50 with contact. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So Colt, the game changes now. 3rd down and 9 with a dual threat quarterback. 3rd down and 4 looks a whole lot different.
It does. It looks a whole lot different. Sebastian Valdez just can't do that. Watch the football.
He's got a couple of wideouts to his right. Chris Hudson motions to his left. And his big running back, Schlembaker, right next to him. Here comes a blitz from the linebackers. Out of his hands, another first down. Easily taking advantage of that soft corner is Chris Hudson. His first catch. And the Cougs are clicking. And John Mateer is operating with some serious High pace here today, right back on the ball. 1st and 10 on the 18. Schlenn Baker still the back. That ball tipped and almost intercepted.
I like what Washington State is doing so far. Rushing the ball after a big first down. Mateer tries to throw a little sidearm rocket. Gets it knocked down. Is lucky that ball didn't get intercepted. But the on-the-ball sort of pace and tempo that they're creating right now early in this game, I really like it.
Dictating to that Washington defense, first-year defensive coordinator Steve Belichick coming over after a dozen years with the Patriots. Mateer keeps it himself. This is what he's done so well, but he's ripped down from behind on the 15-yard line. Picks up a couple of yards. And again, no huddle for Washington State, one of only 9 teams through 2 games to go over 100 points. Jake Dickert, former wide receiver at Wisconsin-Stevens Point, in his 3rd season as the Cougar head coach.
If you're Washington State right here, put together a really nice drive so far. It's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Like, you got the field goal in your back pocket. Let's take care of the football here and get some points on the board. Be smart.
They converted their only 3rd down so far on this drive. Mateer, linebacker blitz, sets up, and another catch at the 8-yard line. Josh Meredith with his 3rd. This is going to be about a yard short of a first down after a gain of 7. Now we see how bold they want to be on their first possession. Do you go? Well, they're lining right back on the ball. Mateer's ready for the snap. Washington just gets their last player off the field. Rayshawn Parker met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Javon Parker hit him first. Fourth and short, they go for it. Parker and Carson Bruner. His father, Mark, played in many of these Apple Cups as a tight end. Boy, they stepped up when they had to have a play. We'll catch our breath for a moment. The Huskies with the ball after this. Jake Dickert just saw his Cougars go 10 plays, 65 yards on their first drive, but they face 4th down and 1. And we'll take a look now at what John Mateer saw before he ran the play call.
Yeah, Washington looks like they're having a substitution problem. They got number 55, Jacob Bandes, running off the field. And look, you know, I know it's your 3rd start, John Mateer, but we missed an opportunity here to snap this football and get a free 5 yards. And then ultimately, a big stop by Carson Bruner and this Washington defense on 4th and 1. So a missed opportunity there early in the game.
Bruner had 14 tackles in the Apple Cup last year, and a huge one right there. Will Rogers, Jonah Coleman, wrapped up as he got back to the line of scrimmage. For Washington, starting lineups delivered by Papa John's after a no gain right there. This is a massive rebuilding project. They didn't lose a little. They lost all 11 starters after they had one of the best offenses in the nation a year ago. And they are starting from scratch, led by the veteran quarterback Will Rogers after his 4 seasons at Mississippi State. Jedd Fisch, first year on the sideline as head coach after the last 3 at Arizona. 2nd down 10. Rogers to pass, Jonah Coleman. Nowhere to go on that screen, dropped for a loss of 1. He's touched it twice, and Washington doesn't have a yard. It'll be 3rd down 11. Will Rogers was terrific in the SEC, first year and probably only year at Washington. Came in with a reputation of being highly efficient. He's lived up to it, just inside of 80%. Hasn't thrown an interception yet, and a big down facing him right here. He needs 11 to keep this drive going. .43rd start, in the pocket, evades, and lets it go late. Slow starts continue for the Huskies. Cougars produce a 3 and out.
It's a really nice job by Washington State's defense here. Right defensive end, having a little playing games up front, right? He's just stunned inside. Create some pressure, get Will Rogers off his spot. Will does a nice job escaping. Just, there's nobody there. And actually, for an experienced guy like this, a pretty good throwaway, but they got a punt on their first drive of the game.
Jack McAllister 5 yards deep. Washington has not scored a point in the previous 2 first quarters. Tough start here this afternoon in the Apple Cup. McAllister, no rush, gets away a solid punt. Tony Freeman from his own 38. He's got some space around this side, and here he goes. Tony Freeman untouched till he got inside the 30-yard line, and a big hit out of bounds.
Looks like we might get a late hit right here at the end. 2 steps out of bounds. And here comes Mikel Esteen, number 24 for Washington. I don't know about that one, Paul. That looked pretty late to me.
Watch Esteen here in his 5th season at UW has waited his turn. First chance as a starter on defense and also playing on special teams. No flag. Might have gotten away with one there.
I'm surprised we're not getting a flag right there. Yeah, John Mateer, you look at his last 2 games, had a couple slow starts, but when we talked to offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle, he said, look, I want to get him some early completions. I want to get him in rhythm, right? I want him to know he's a good passer. And today he started pretty well. No points to show for it, but playing good so far.
Yeah, that was a priority, Colt. We talked to him throughout the week, getting him in a rhythm and a flow early. 4 out of 6 will do that. Make it 5 out of 7. That's been his top target. Josh Meredith has 4 catches already. Thaddeus Dixon with the stop after a gain of 3.
Again, what you're seeing is these just quick games, you know, fake a little run, throw a little hits to the inside receivers, throw a flat route to the guys coming across the ball. Easy completions to really try to settle John Mateer's feet, make him feel comfortable throwing the football today.
Big change offensively from last year when they had Cam Ward, who's now doing work in Miami. They were 4th in the nation in passing offense. A little more balance here this year. Mateer leaning toward the pass, lets it go to the end zone, and that one's way out of bounds. Chris Hudson was the nearest receiver. Jordan Shaw with the coverage, bring up 3rd down. So we mentioned the name Steve Belichick. He's the one running the defense for Washington State. Of course, you know the name in the National Football League. Steve's father was Bill. He was with them the last dozen years, working with the defensive backs, the safeties, calling the plays on defense the last 4 years. Asked him yesterday, what's the difference between the NFL and college? He said in the NFL, they want to stay there. College, they're trying to get there. Other than that, it's just ball. 3rd down and 7. He brings the blitz here. Mateer back across his body and incomplete. Blitz didn't bring him down, Colt, but the blitz won. Bryce Sock, the corner on Williams.
And look, this is what you get from Belichick. He's going to put his best 5 rushers up on the line of scrimmage right here, right? And they are just going to create havoc for John Mateer and just make him not be able to settle his feet, make him get off his spot and move. He moves out of the pocket. What I like about what Washington State did right there is they played a lot of man coverage behind that look last week, and right there they played some zone. Confusing for a young quarterback.
Dean Janikowski, the veteran, from 43 yards out, 75% for his career, and that is right down the middle. We'll call it 44 yards. Washington State has had the ball inside of Washington territory in each one of their 2 possessions, and they have 3 points to show for it. 116th Apple Cup is underway. The Cougar offense has been strong so far. Just underway here in Seattle. Big Ten Saturday is brought to you by Geico. Get more with Geico. And by Genesis Motor America. Learn more at genesis.com. Last time they played the Apple Cup here on this field, that was 2011. The Huskies came out on top 38-21. And they've won 9 of these last 10. They did it for the first time all the way back in 1900. Basically, Washington has won 2/3 of these games. As I mentioned, they've won 9 of the last 10. The one time the Cougars have won in the last 10 years, that was with Jake Dickert as the interim head coach. And that win on that day led to him the next day being named the permanent head coach. Ryan Harris kicking off to Keith Reynolds. 2 yards deep. He'll settle for the touchback. Turnover here with Washington has been nothing short of massive. Here is the story. Last year was fantastic. Kalen DeBoer was the head coach, best in the Pac-12. They won 14 out of 15 games, but that led to him getting to the next opportunity, and that's the head coach at Alabama to replace Nick Saban. Look at all the players that left. They only have 2 starters back off of last year. So in comes Jedd Fisch. He was in Arizona. Over half of the roster is new compared to last year. Brought in a lot of players from Tucson as well, veterans and freshmen. And his project here in Seattle has just begun. First drive for his offense, netted -1 yard. Will Rogers sets up the screen to Coleman. Gets a block, he's got a lane. Stiff arm at the finish. Good start to that drive. Ethan O'Connor eventually pushed him out of bounds. 13-yard gain.
And this is what you'll see from Jedd Fisch's offense. You're faking the zone, you're faking fly sweeps, right? And then all of a sudden, instead of pushing the ball down the field, we're going to throw a little screen. You get lots of movement up front with their young, inexperienced offensive line.
Good way to get the quarterback started. If that running back looks stout, it's because he is. 5'9", 230 pounds. He's one of the players that came with Fisch from Arizona. Over 1,100 yards from scrimmage last year. Little inside sweep here to Keith Reynolds. And he finds the edge as well. Not enough for a first down, but they go left with the screen and then back to the right for 8.
Yeah, Coach Jedd Fisch told us yesterday they wanted a fast start. Well, let's get it in our kick returner's hands, Keith Reynolds. That actually counts as a completion right there for Will Rogers. Gets him on the edge, gets 7 or 8 yards, and a good start to this drive here for Washington.
Play action and a completion down to the 30-yard line. Kaleki Latu from Cal to Nevada to UW, and again at 22.
Nice job here by Will Rogers, right? Just a little play action. Linebackers have to respect the run of Jonah Coleman. You were just talking about him. Kaleki Latu just slips in right behind him for a big gain.
And as you pointed out early in the week, Cole, to me, as you started watching film and getting to know this team, they play 2 tight ends most of the time. Latu and also true freshman Decker DeGraff. He wears 86. Back to the air. That's a nice pocket. To the end zone. Giles Jackson! Touchdown! Huskies! .31 yards, Will Rogers to Giles Jackson.
Let's check the feet on this touchdown. Make sure he's in. There's one. Oh yeah, he gets both in. That's big time. Huge play for the Washington Huskies. Nice throw by Will Rogers. Great catch by Giles Jackson over the shoulder.
Will Rogers 5 for 6. Grady Gross up and in. Giles Jackson is what you call a super senior. This is his 6th year of college football. Will Rogers enjoying his first Apple Cup. Started out slow, but then lofted that perfect rainbow with Jackson on the other side. Washington leads its biggest rival 7-3. Point of emphasis for Jedd Fisch. Will Rogers coming into this Apple Cup gets something going offensively early. They hadn't scored a point in the first quarter of the previous 2 weeks. Just put up a touchdown. It was Rogers to Giles Jackson, and they lead 7-3. Jackson 2 years at Michigan, 4 years now at Washington. Easily the best start to a season he's had. Leiron Smithson across the 15 and 20. Nice return, skips out to the 43-yard line. Now Washington believes they have the football. They ruled it down. We also have a penalty marker that came in late. Would be a 43-yard return. Esteen, one of the safeties for Washington, thinks he came up with the football. Steve Barron is the referee today. Big 12 conference crew. He has a lot to sort out here.
After the play, personal foul, number 88 of the receiving team. 15-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of the run. First down.
So they'll start 15 yards further back. Last play from scrimmage was the first touchdown of the day. Will Rogers to Giles Jackson. He had a nice pocket, Colt, and a good look at his receiver.
And watch our guy Jonah Coleman. This is why the offensive line love him. When they start rushing Will Rogers, he just steps in, chips the defensive lineman, and gives Will Rogers just enough time to get this ball down the field for a touchdown.
Will Rogers' 100th career touchdown pass right there. Johnny Mateer breaks one tackle and nowhere to go. He picks up 1 yard. Sebastian Valdez, Alfonso Tuputala, and they knew a lot of that quarterback run was coming today, Cole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we talked to Steve Belichick yesterday, they said we just got to contain John Mateer. We got to keep him in the pocket. We know we're going to get some design runs, but his legs are a threat.
This time it's his arm, little low, but that's a completion near a first down out to the 39-yard line. Half a yard short, gain of 7. Cal Williams, that's his first catch, over 2,500 receiving yards at UNLV and also Washington State. Well, they wanted to get Mateer off to a good start passing, and he starts out 6 out of 10. Colt, what they could really use is the running game to get going. They have 5 total rushing yards.
Well, again, we know that's what Washington is trying to do, is stop this run, but John Mateer has started off pretty hot. Got a 3rd and short here. Would be huge for this Huskies offense to, or this Washington State offense to get a first. 3rd
down and 1. Wayshawn Parker, and he got just enough. Picks up 1.5. Brian Parham, linebacker, with the stop, and the chains move for Jake Dicker.
I mean, I can hear the pads popping all the way up here in the booth. They are playing physical up front. This Washington State offensive line.
Ben Arbuckle, if he looks pretty young, he is. That's a 28-year-old offensive coordinator here calling the shots for Washington State. And back to the air, dials up a pass, and why not? And a good spin move to pick up a first down. Chris Hudson, couple of grabs. Now they're operating inside of Husky territory. Gain of 14.
Yeah, Coach Arbuckle and Mateer in a rhythm right here. You know, Washington's playing some soft coverage on the back end. Everything that Washington State is doing is they're just throwing little hitches, little flat routes. And if you make one guy miss, it turns into a big play, which is what we just saw.
Arbuckle said his age, he feels like it's an advantage relating to the players, gives him a real relatability, thinks he can interact with them in a different way, in a better way, being in his late 20s. Mateer comes back to his 2nd and 3rd look, dancing around. Now he fires down to the 37-yard line. 9-yard pickup. Tony Freeman with the catch. Gain of 9.5. He's 8 for 12.
You're seeing some poise by John Mateer right now in the pocket, like not forcing things, buying some time with his feet.
Well, they are moving in a hurry. This time he lets one fly toward the end zone. Penalty marker late. Incomplete. But the Huskies on Kyle Williams. Elijah Jackson, one of the starters back from last year, guilty of a hold or pass interference.
And he still almost came down with this football. There was some...
Defense number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They were fighting back and forth. Right, Kyle Williams gets on top, running a go ball. Yeah.
Oh.
Still almost caught it, but Jackson definitely pulled his arm down right there. Good call by the refs.
And Williams almost came up with that one with the left hand, but it's first down now. Cougars continuing to click on offense on the 23-yard line. Hudson in motion and back to the air, stepping up, and he can go inside the 10 and into the end zone. John Mateer.
And this is what John Mateer brings to the table. We're going to get a safety from back here late in the snap. He's going to come off the line right here on a pressure. There he comes. And nobody contains the middle of the defense. And John Mateer, so athletic. Such a great runner, so dynamic. Runs it in for 6.
Extra points, sails up and in. Cougars respond to the Huskies' touchdown with 7 points of their own. Ben Arbuckle has seen his quarterback start hot. Jake Dickert said he loves having what he calls as the curveball, with the ability for his quarterback to run this well. It's the John Mateer show for the Cougs, and they lead in the Apple Cup. John Mateer likes this Apple Cup thing in his third career start, first one against Washington. He's already over 100 yards of total offense, highly efficient passing the ball, and just scored on a touchdown run. You compare it to what he did last week, Colter, what he didn't do last week, and it looks even better.
Yeah, listen, he's really done a nice job so far. He's off to a hot start.
Keith Reynolds, fair catch. And speaking of hot starts, Will Rogers not so bad himself. So Mateer will take a little bit of a rest, and he needs it with all he's done with his legs and with his arm. Last time we saw Will Rogers, he was 4 for 4 on a drive. Ended it with a touchdown pass to Giles Jackson. So Will Rogers comes from Starkville, Mississippi as the 4-year starting quarterback at Mississippi State, all the way up to Seattle, 2,000 miles away, he said, for one reason. He wants to show NFL scouts he can run an NFL offense and run it at a high level. This is his season to do so. A couple of tight ends and Jonah Coleman, the tailback. Play action, hits that back foot, first down. Jackson with a good cut out to the 39-yard line. And the Huskies pass offense moving along. That's 14.
Yeah, this is a nice job by Will Rogers. We said he plays well in rhythm. It's just a slant route on the outside to Giles Jackson, but the play fake brings the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, and it's a touch pass right over the middle. But you notice there's no wasted movement. Will Rogers is in his drop back and throwing the football.
Yeah, getting under center, not just taking the shotgun snap. That's part of what this pro offense is. Play action, he's in trouble. And he gets out. Good job avoiding the sack. Ethan O'Connor was in as the corner on the blitz.
Hey, you know, Paul, a lot of times when you get in these cut splits, meaning the receivers are lining up on the numbers, inside the numbers, the defense, it's an easier way for a corner to blitz off the edge, and that's what we saw right there. Will Rogers wasn't expecting that, but he did a nice job not taking a sack and throwing the ball away.
So Will Rogers comes out. This is part of the plan. This is true freshman Damon Williams, Arizona's Offensive Player of the Year last year, just outside of Phoenix. Committed to and signed with Jedfish in Tucson, then came with him here to Seattle when he took the job. They set it up to Denzel Boston, nothing there. Ethan O'Connor makes the stop, loss of 1. And Damon Williams jogs out. We will see him again. He is part of the plan. Doesn't come in for 1 or 2 plays. They expect to play him throughout this game. Jedfish runs his starting quarterback. Will Rogers back in now on 3rd and 10. They dial up another blitz. Sideline shot. Boston. First down, Huskies. Recognize that one-on-one coverage, Colt, and put it right on him.
This is really good coverage right here by Ethan O'Connor, but when you're facing a 6'4" receiver in Denzel Boston, Will Rogers has the ability to throw the back shoulder. He gets his feet in bounds, and if you're 3rd and 10 backed up in your own territory, you convert like this, big time for Washington.
Fake to Coleman. Boy, that's well set up. Giles Jackson being pursued to the far sideline. Good pickup there on first down. Adrian Wilson runs him out. Gain of 6. So Will Rogers, you watched him all week here, Colt. I know you said about the offense, comparing it to an NFL offense, I like what they do in this operation. What'd you see?
Yeah, but when you go back and watch those last 2 plays, he almost gets sacked on 2nd down and avoids it, throws it away. He's like, okay, coach, call a better play. They get in that situation. He finds his one-on-one, Denzel Boston, for a big first down, right? He's just mature. He has a ton of experience.
Fake the reverse. They give it inside to the freshman tailback. Nice job of breaking tackles to the 25. First carry for Adam Muhammad is a good one. Chains move for Washington.
Yeah, here comes Buda Al-Ukta. He reads this out really well. Watch him here. He's going to sniff this out. But Adam Muhammad just runs right through this arm tackle for a first down, and that's hard to do. Buda Al-Ukta reminds me of that AFC North Ravens Steelers type linebacker. He's tough, he's strong.
Adam Muhammad remains the tailback. He's one of the players that committed to Fish in Tucson and then came with him here to Washington. He has it up the middle, nothing there. Creates a little bit on his own down to the 21-yard line, picks up 4. Keith Brown, outside linebacker, with the stop. Jedd Fisch telling us yesterday that when he got to Seattle, priority number 1 was keeping Will Rogers. He put his name back in the transfer portal after Kalen DeBoer went to Alabama because he did commit to DeBoer. Said he met with him on a Sunday morning, got the ball rolling. About a week later, he said, "Yep, I'm going to stay and play for you." Rogers, this time a little bit too high. Bring up 3rd down and 7. So he had giant numbers at Mississippi State, but he played a lot of his football for the late, great Mike Leach in that system where there's a lot of short completions. So entering today, only Dylan Gabriel at Oregon has more production through any way you measure it than Will Rogers. But he told us he wanted to play in a pro system and have the NFL scouts read him that way. Likely a spot here to show off on 3rd down and 7. Empty backfield. Oh, drops the snap. He got on it himself, but down to the 28, and that's a wasted 3rd down. Loss of 4 and an injured Husky.
Yeah, you don't want to see your starting left tackle on the ground. Will Rogers, I think, just takes his eye off the football for a split second. And there goes his left tackle's ankle. You hate to see that. Oh, my goodness.
And that's Solani Fa'asolo, freshman out of Palo Alto, California.
Hopefully he's going to be all right. But when you're a left tackle or offensive lineman, you're setting backwards, thinking there's no way I'm going to run into anybody. And that's a tough one.
Hope for the best for Fa'asolo. Jedd Fisch, interesting talking to him yesterday, Colt, with everything that had to be new. Again, only 2 starters coming back from last year. Didn't retain any of the old staff, so it's a new staff. All the parts on the outside, too, that he created is new. He said he couldn't wait to get to training camp to focus on just the football because he's building all these other things that are brand new, and that's good to see. Solani Fa'asolo making it off the field. So Jedd Fisch not only creating the offense here, as we've seen he calls the plays, but creating all the new around this program too.
Yeah, he told us, he said, we couldn't even go 11 on 11 in the spring. We didn't have enough offensive linemen. We had to go out and get some, and they didn't come in until June. And he said, so training camp was very physical for us and very helpful. At the end of this first quarter, man, it has been awesome. Washington State has come to play on offense. And Washington's got a good drive going here.
Well, we knew we had the history, 116th time. We knew we had all the feeling that comes with the in-state rivalry. Didn't know the quarterbacks were going to show up like this. Touchdown pass from Will Rogers to Giles Jackson. And John Mateer's run for 1 as well. Apple Cup heading to the 2nd quarter. Welcome back to Seattle. We are set for the 2nd quarter with Washington State leading by 3 over Washington. Moments ago on the sideline, Zora Stevenson with UW head coach Jedd Fisch.
Coach, Washington State quarterback John Mateer loves to work outside the pocket. What's your assessment of the coverage on him so far?
Yeah, I mean, he got a great scramble for a touchdown. We got to keep getting hits on him. We got to contain him. He's a really good player.
I know you all wanted to start a little bit faster. How'd things go?
Yeah, well, we got 1 drive. We've had 3 drives. 1 was a touchdown. This is a field goal, hopefully, and we had a 3-and-out to start the game, so we make this a 10-10 game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Zora. And Colt, that's a real sign of progress. Their first points they've scored in a first quarter here in this early season. 45-yard field goal attempt from Grady Gross. Remember him as the hero of the Apple Cup last year, 42-yard field goal as time expired to win that one for the Huskies. 45 yards out. Kick is up, and his field goal is good. First play of the second quarter leads to points for Will Rogers and the Huskies. Jedd Fisch now sees his side tie it up at 10. Hey, John Mateer, the quarterback for Washington State, off to a terrific start, Colt, both running the ball and especially passing the ball for his head coach, Jake Dickert.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick. Throws a little hitch on the inside for a big play. Throws a flat route to the outside. And then we all know what he brings to the table, right? It's his legs. If your pass rush lanes aren't containing him in the pocket, he will make you pay. And that's a big-time run for a touchdown there in the first quarter by John Mateer.
Take a look at the total offense today for John Mateer, and what a start here. His third career start, the sophomore, in his third year in the program, first Apple Cup, over 100 yards of total offense, and nearly matching the Huskies by himself. Now, Steve Belichick knew that the running was coming, Colt. I don't think he knew that the passing efficiency was there. He's 8 out of 12 for 95. Smithson had a big return in the first quarter. Head down out to the 25.
Hey, you know, one of the things I really like about John Mateer is he waited his turn. He sat 2 years behind Cam Ward, who's a really special player, playing good at Miami this year. But he worked and worked and worked, and he earned the respect of this locker room. These coaches, when we talked about him this week, just raved about him. And, you know, going into training camp, they knew that what they had with him, they just wanted to see a little bit more. And today, you've seen his arm be pretty explosive. He scored a touchdown with his legs. He started off pretty hot.
It's a good guy to learn behind. Cam Ward has been excellent at Miami early in his tenure there. This time, Mateer hands off, and not a lot there. The front seven for Washington was ready for that. Mateer talked to us during the week about the time he spent behind Cam Ward, those 2 seasons. I said, what did you learn most? He said, it wasn't football, it was just how to carry yourself as a guy in the locker room. He said Cam never got too high, never got too low, and that steadiness, consistency is what he strives for. This time runs out to the right in trouble. And now back to his left and a little low. Late flag comes in, incomplete. We had 2 flags in. One came out right when the play started, and then one at the very end too. Both quarterbacks have a touchdown accounted for. Mateer with the run, and Will Rogers with a pass. Each side has a field goal early in the second quarter here in the Apple Cup. All locked up at 10 in a series that Washington has won 9 of the last 10.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Holding, defense, number 8. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 9. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, first down.
So in the end, it works out well for the Washington State offense. It's an offense. It's the responsibility of the defensive coordinator for Washington, Steve Belichick. You've played against Belichick defenses throughout your 14-year NFL career. What kind of adjustment do you expect from him?
I mean, he's going to change up coverages the whole game, right? He's going to try to get home to John Mateer with different packages, with different rushers, different zone coverages behind the rushes.
And they bring the blitz, and Chris Hudson around the right side. He finds the edge. First down, Cougars, and then some. Cameron Fabiculanen, the safety, eventually got there, but a big gain for the ground game of Washington State, 24 yards.
Right. They're going to have Hudson line up on the ball right here. A lot of times you don't think a reverse is coming to a guy who's on the ball, but in a cut split, they execute this perfectly, and he gets around the edge of Zach Durfee. Great play there by Washington State.
Right back on the ball, offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle, the one talking to Mateer in his helmet. He says this is the greatest thing ever. You can tell about the play before, give him the play, and maybe one tip for the upcoming. Play action, quick slants, contacts. You see no flag in the incompletion. Chris Hudson, the intended receiver. Good job, Thaddeus Dixon.
Yeah, John Mateer knew it was man coverage. It was pressed across the board. Nice job by Thaddeus Dixon on the slant route, making a play on the football. Washington, if they're going to play man like this, needs a lot more of those pass breakups and tight coverage in the secondary.
Ben Arbuckle told us during the week we got to forget about the last name of Belichick and just know it's an aggressive defense that likes to blitz 5 often. Second down 10. Inside give. Huskies all over it. Loss of 1. Isaiah Ward was there. And the opposite defensive end, Zach Durfee, joined him.
First time we really called Zach Durfee's name, but I want you to watch him right there. Just shedding blockers, meeting the running back in the backfield, wrapping him up for a loss of 1.
Mateer's been good on third down, converting 2 out of 4. 5th play of this drive, third down 11. Still time, play clock down to 5. Mateer keeps it, dumps it, incomplete. A happy feet there as the rush started to cave in. Sebastian Valdez was there first.
Again, this is the formula for Washington's defense. Watch when they rush around the edge. They're just going to stop right here. And they're going to say, hey, we're not going to let John Mateer get outside of this pocket. We're going to keep him inside. There's nowhere for him to go, so he has to escape up. Much better job in their responsibilities here on this third down than the last one when John Mateer took off and scored.
And whistles now, timeout, I believe, called by Washington.
Washington has called their first timeout of the half. Timeout.
.10 early in the second quarter here in the Apple Cup. Jedd Fisch has been on the sideline before. 2010, he coached quarterbacks for Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. In his journey to get back here as the head coach at Washington, he had 7 different stops, well-traveled, mixing in the NFL and also some high-profile college programs, Michigan and UCLA. And now he's back in his first season at Washington. Cougars spun it away. Denzel Boston is back deep. And that's how Washington will begin on offense. One of those stops was in Los Angeles, Colt. He spent 2 seasons working for Sean McVay, and you recognize some of what he's doing here.
Yeah, you know, when you turn on this tape, you see a lot of 12 personnel sets, meaning 2 tight ends. But you see a Rams cut up here. They're going to run, fake the zone, run the bootleg off of it, hit a little flat route, right? It looks like zone to the defense. Then here you go with Washington. Will Rogers, same thing. Faking the zone, hitting a little shallow by Giles Jackson. A lot of the same flavor. And what I like about this offense is the defense has to be prepared for zone, for bootleg, for play action. It all looks the same to them.
Washington had negative yardage on their first drive, but they've been strong since. Jonah Coleman with a cutback. Cougar defense there to wrestle him down. Gain of 1. Talking to Jedd Fisch yesterday about this idea that a lot of what they run is similar to what Sean McVay runs with the Rams. He said my guys, including the quarterback, could walk into a Rams meeting tomorrow and know the terminology and know the scheme. That's how similar it is.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. It is. Look, he's got a ton of NFL experience, and you know, for Will Rogers, it meant a lot to him to be able to come here, step in a huddle, learn a system. It's just going to help Will progress as he continues to play this year and as he wants to get to the next level.
This time fakes to Coleman on the move. Lets it go deep for Giles Jackson. Got it! His second big catch down to the 40-yard line. Now they're going to hustle up and get right back on it.
I mean, take a look at this route by Giles Jackson. Here he is right here. He's going to run up, stutter his feet, get the DB's hips turned. Will Rogers is just going to throw it down the hash, and Giles Jackson goes and makes a huge play here in this second quarter.
Giles Jackson in this game already a touchdown catch. That big one, he's now over 1,000 receiving yards for his career. 2 years at Michigan, now his 4th in Washington. Rogers to Coleman, head of steam. And a stiff arm and a strong finish. Used all 230 pounds to get the best of that contact with Ethan O'Connor in a gain of 11.
I mean, what a run by Coleman here, right? You said it. He's low to the ground. He's got a frame that just can take all kinds of contact. He finds the hole behind the line here. Huge stiff arm. Boom! Runs over a corner. That's a powerful run right there by Jonah Coleman. That's fun to watch.
Washington State defenders thinking, we've seen this. We've felt it before. Last year when he was at Arizona, had 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards from scrimmage in a big win. Couple of tight ends here now from the shotgun. Rogers gets back under center. Drives Coleman again. And this time the Cougars usher him out of bounds. No gain to bring up 2nd down 10. And that's part of this NFL offense that Rogers is running, going back and forth from shotgun to under center with a lot of different formations.
Yeah, I think Jedd Fisch does a really nice job of just saying, look, we're not just going to drop back all the time, throw it around. I know you're used to that coming from Mississippi State. I'm going to have you underneath the center. I'm going to have you in the shotgun at times. I'm going to move you off your spot. We're going to move the pocket, right? And so far, you're seeing a pretty healthy mix of all of that by this Washington offense.
Good look at the one in charge there. That's Brennan Carroll. He's the offensive line and offensive coordinator here. Exact same title he had the last 3 years for Jedd Fisch and Arizona. Timeout called.
Yeah, it just didn't look like they had the right personnel group out there. Right there, I saw Jedd Fisch walk over to the ref
their 2nd time out of the half.
and just say, hey, when I get to 0, I'm going to burn a timeout here. Got a good drive going, though.
So, Colt, even though...
Please reset the game clock to 9:44, 9:44.
Even though there's all kinds of change, they lost all 11 starters on offense. Jedd Fisch has a certain sense of continuity and a lot of it with his coaching staff. He brought his entire offensive staff with him from Tucson to Seattle. Brennan Carroll doing the exact same thing, coaching the offensive line, coordinating the offense, but it is Jedd Fisch calling the plays.
Yeah, Brennan Carroll's done a really nice job. Getting to spend some time with him yesterday. You know, he admitted, he was like, look, we really haven't been tested so far this year. We've played pretty good, but also my job is not to put these guys, you know, in some compromising situations. We're going to rotate some guys in and out. We're going to slide protect a lot. We're going to keep our running backs in, as we saw on the touchdown pass, right? Chipping and helping. So far, doing a really nice job.
And the backgrounds mix well for Brennan Carroll and Jedd Fisch. Brennan, in his coaching career, offensive line, tight ends. Jedd Fisch, more about the passing game, the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. It's a good mix of resume and ideas there. 2nd down 10. Cameron Davis missed last year with an knee injury in a tailback for the first time. Rogers has been hot recently. Double pumps. And a short gain down to the 24-yard line. Gain of 4. Zora, come on in.
Paul, one of the things Jedd Fisch created off the field when he got to Seattle was the 5th quarter room, or life after football room. There's a lot of messaging around the space. The players actually wrote their goals on the ceiling, a way to remind them that if you simply move the tile, you can achieve anything. The 5th quarter room was something Coach Fisch had at Arizona, and he was quick to implement it in Washington too.
Yeah, we held our meetings there yesterday. Interesting to look around and see all the thoughts from the coaches and players. Thank you, Zora. Injured Cougar on the field. We can't see his number right now. We hope to have it for you when we come back. All tied at 10. In the new Peacock original Fight Night, schemers, dreamers, hustlers, and high rollers collide over $1 million heist. Starring Kevin Hart, Taraji P. Henson, Terrence Howard, Don Cheadle, and Samuel L. Jackson. Fight Night is streaming now and only on Peacock. Purple and crimson mixing in together there. Here in Seattle, playing for the Apple Cup. They've done it every year since 1963, and it awaits the winner. Right now, all tied at 10. 3rd and 5 for Will Rogers. Nice pocket to the end zone. Too much for a tight end, Kaleki Latu. And Rogers hasn't missed a whole lot today, Colt. He's 10 out of 14 for a $156. But that incompletion will lead to a field goal attempt and a conversation with Jedd Fisch.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? That's really good coverage by number 52, Kyle Thornton. They get into a Tampa 2 look. A lot of times you see that on third down in the red zone. So he essentially becomes the one-on-one player with Kaleki Latu and does a nice job in coverage there, forcing the field goal.
Grady Gross 1 for 1 today from 44 yards out. This one from 42. His Apple Cup is off to an excellent start after he made the game winner in the final seconds last year. Both of his makes from over 40 yards. And Washington on top 13-10 about halfway through the second quarter. Jake Dickert, his starting quarterback, is John Mateer, off to a great start. Over 100 yards of total offense, has a touchdown run. Interesting road for Mateer just to get here. He was committed to Central Arkansas for a lot of his high school career. He wanted to play baseball and football. They said, we'll let you do both. Through his senior football season, that's where he was going. And then it happened in a hurry in January after that season. Washington State interest, the visit to Pullman, the yes, I will come here, all happened within a week. And this is his third year on campus. He waited a couple seasons behind Cam Ward, and this is his third start today, and it's going awfully well.
I'm a big fan of waiting your turn, right? One of the best things that helped me when I got to college was being able to redshirt, spend a year just learning and growing. And I think you're seeing the fruits of that with John Mateer. Sat a couple years behind a great player, Cam Ward. Now he's got the reins of this offense, and in his third start of his young career, he gets to play in the Apple Cup.
Not bad after leading his team to a 2-0 win. You sat behind Vince Young, not a bad player to learn from either. From the 4-yard line, Smithson. He's had a couple of good returns already. Penalty marker comes in as he kind of rammed right into that contact and gets out to the 33-yard line. Steve Barron, our referee, we've heard from him quite a few times already this afternoon. Would be a 28-yard return.
Personal foul, face mask, number 24 of the kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, first down.
And Washington State benefits once again. They'll march that 15 yards closer to midfield.
I mean, we're seeing lots of penalties by Washington right now.
They could have gotten called for face mask right there. Denzel Boston, the wide receiver. So now Washington State will see how they do coming from behind. A couple of field goals from Gross, and the Huskies now on top 13-10. Mateer 8 out of 14 through the air, and he also has 25 yards rushing, including a 23-yard touchdown run. Standing, looking, and still wants to throw, and just fired that one away. In his face, Carson Bruner had 14 tackles last year in the Apple Cup. Smelled a sack there.
And look, this is how you have to defend John Mateer. You just can't let him beat you with your legs, right? They're going to play some zone coverage. His first answer's not there. And instead of letting him move up through the pocket, they're making him stay back there, and really nice coverage on the back end there by Washington.
Does he look kind of anxious to leave the pocket to you?
Well, there was nobody open. Washington's doing a nice job disguising their pressures when they come after him, but their coverage is on the back end.
Back to the air. This a called, rolled out. Cranks the shoulders. And that's 2 consecutive incompletions. As you pointed out, Colt, last time nobody was open. Same situation there.
Yeah, getting this, again, spend some time with Belichick earlier in the week. He was like, look, I don't care if we get a single sack against John Mateer. I just don't want him to leave the pocket and use his legs to beat us, right? He got him early in the game on the long touchdown run, but you can tell that's a point of emphasis on the sidelines. I'm sure he's telling everybody, like, control your gaps, rush lane integrity, right? Now they got him in a big third down.
Right where Steve Belichick wants him. That's 3rd down and 10, and not knowing where the blitz is coming from. They only bring 4. Mateer dancing underneath. Good choice in the first down. Down to the 35 goes the tailback, Wayshawn Parker. Patience and accuracy, and a big play for Washington State, gain of 16. And just like they've shown all afternoon, in a hurry to get back on the ball, 28-year-old offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle.
Had a good talk with Colt this week about being from Canadian Texas. I understand in your conference there, Colt. 1st and 10, Wayshawn Parker to his left. After the first down grab, he gets a couple there on 1st down. And we bring back in Zora Stevenson.
Well, Paul, I've got a little bit more on Ben Arbuckle. After playing quarterback at West Texas A&M, he went into finance. He quickly realized he needed football back in his life, left his stable paycheck for a volunteer coaching role at Houston Christian, formerly Houston Baptist, and to make extra money, he drove for Uber Eats on the side while his wife, Lauren, picked up an additional job as a nanny.
Amazing hustle. Spent 90 minutes at lunch getting that one done. Escapes. And Matier eventually goes down. Penalty marker late. But a sack back to the 44-yard line. Jacob Bandez in. Zach Durfee as well. And we'll see which side is guilty here.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty enforced in the previous spot.
Second 15-yard penalty on this drive.
Here's the face mask right here. Isaiah Ward just, yep, he does get his hand in there, pulls him in. But when you cross the 50-yard line against this Washington defense, you're going to get heated up. There's nobody back here on the back end. This is cover 0, no safeties. The pressure is going to be relentless. Now John Matier just has nowhere to go, and it's a great call by Washington, a great stop. And unfortunately, they get the personal foul penalty, grabbing the face mask there, which stinks for them. But just know that Washington's defense is aggressive. They're going to come after you.
You see their 5 penalties, 65 yards, 30 of those yards coming on this drive. First down, Matier cuts it back, and this time they're ready. Might have got 1 yard, but that's been their lead with the run game. That's John Matier. He has the touchdown run, Colt, but so far, you'd have to give the edge to Steve Belichick. Ben Arbuckle calling the plays for the Cougars.
Yeah, but you also looking big picture here, like Washington has had 3 personal foul face mask penalties so far. I mean, that's 45 yards just given to Washington State. Now Washington State's got the ball inside the 20, all because of penalties.
Cougars took the first lead. Now they find themselves down by 3. 6.5 till halftime. Little hook shot over the middle, and this could go. Oh, he's tripped up at the 10-yard line. Chris Hudson had an open lane to the end zone, but instead he'll settle for the 11-yard gain.
Here we go. One more time. We told you. He's going to come after you. There's going to be no safeties in the back end. Here comes all the rushers. Oh, and he's just barely trips. Gets the first down, but barely trips. He had to walk into the end zone there.
Almost.
Good call by Coach Ben Arbuckle, expecting a cover 0. Let me throw a little underneath screen to one of my speed guys. See if he can go score. They almost had it right there.
4 years at Oregon, now first at Washington State. Whistles stop the clock, 5:49 until halftime. And timeout on the field, each side retreating to their side. So Jake Dickert saw his team come out. They really had their way game 1, Colt, against Portland State, scored 70 points.
The previous play is under review to confirm the spot.
So let's see where the ball should be placed. So it was easy against Portland State, then they had a big win against Texas Tech, and now they run right into their biggest rival in game 3.
Yeah, this game is huge. You know, talking to them all week, it was Apple Cup, Apple Cup, Apple Cup, right? That's what their focus is. It's what these guys who grow up in this system, they haven't been as successful over the last 10 years, but this week that was the point of emphasis. Look, we beat Texas Tech. We played good. We're going to have to throw the football a little bit better if we want to beat Washington, but this is our focus. And today, I think they got to be pleased. They've got a drive going right here, only down 3 right here before the half.
So, Colt, they're taking a look at the spot. Right now I'm looking to see the ball on the 10-yard line. Let's see where Hudson actually went down. And that left knee is down with the ball just inside the 10.
That looks like a pretty good spot to me. Right there.
Yeah, left knee down, ball just a yard past it. And again, right now the ball is on the 10, so Maybe they get an extra yard out of this. Jake Dickert grew up in the Midwest, played wide receiver at Wisconsin Stevens Point. He said the big rivalry I knew growing up was Minnesota against Wisconsin. Then when I was playing, Wisconsin Oshkosh was our biggest rival. So lesser known rivalries, but he knows all about the feeling that comes in. Built his resume throughout smaller colleges in the Midwest. Spent 3 years as the defensive coordinator at Wyoming. Came here to Washington State to run the defense. Was eventually interim head coach. And now third season as the head coach.
At the review, it was determined that the runner was down at the 10-yard line. The line to gain was the 9. It will be 3rd down and 1, Washington State.
Okay, so Jake Dickert, after all that, faces 3rd and a yard. You've got a big tailback in Javensky Schlenbaker, who weighs 220. You've got a quarterback who'd love to run it himself.
I think you leave the ball in one of those two guys' hands. Unless you get another cover 0 by Washington, you find a one-on-one matchup. But talking to Coach Ben Arbuckle, he said Javensky Schlenbaker is the glue, right? So in situations like this, give it to your guy.
Yeah, they told us he was the most reliable player on the offense. 3rd down 1. This time it's Mateer. Didn't get a lot. It looks like he got about half a yard past the chains. He gets 1 yard. Durfee makes the stop. The Washington State now trailing by 3. As we approach the 5-minute mark till halftime, we'll have 1st down and goal.
Yeah, this is what's so special about John Mateer. Hey, coach, it's a timeout. Hey, give me the football. Let me go get this. He initiates contact. His teammates love him. He gets them juiced up, right? They have so much respect for John Mateer, and you can see, right? Hey, it's 3rd and 1 down here tight. Like, right? Hey, it's 3rd and 1 down here tight. Like, go get it, John.
He's thrown for a $120, run for 27 yards, and also has the touchdown run. Wants to throw over the middle. Nowhere near Kyle Williams. Had to step on the quick slant, but the ball sailed over his head.
Yeah, you're just going to get a little slant route outside here. Really a great, I love throwing slants versus man coverage. Just kind of misses him. Zach Durfee is constantly in the backfield right now. Maybe didn't set his feet well, but good stop by Washington.
2nd down goal. Right back to the passing game. Mateer tries the right side, has some room. Look at that time. And fires a fastball inside the 5, incomplete. So bring up 3rd and goal from the 9. Cooper Mathers, his tight end, is intended target.
Yeah. Watch this arm angle right here by John Mateer. Big baseball guy. Fires that in there, almost gets it in.
So he's not playing baseball in college. He can still throw it like a 3rd baseman over to the 1st baseman. 10th play of this drive. Mateer facing 3rd down and goal from the 9. Five-man blitz off his back foot. Almost intercepted. Penalty marker came out after it was ruled incomplete. Michaela Steen, the safety for Washington, was closest. He's lucky that one wasn't picked. And we'll check in on the penalty. And Washington has had 2 big ones on this drive, accounting for 30 yards. Had 5 called against them already.
There is no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. 4th down.
Washington heated up one more time. Forces John Mateer to get the ball out just a little bit quicker than what he wanted to. They went back to that same little screen across the middle. Tries to touch it in there, just barely misses it. Possibly a late hit right there. Ball's out. No, it's pretty clean, but you know, try to avoid those as best as you can, John Mateer.
Janikowski from 26 yards out. And he missed it. Pulled it from the middle of the field. And a drive aided by Washington penalties ends with a missed field goal. Check the hold. He got the Lasons around, and that's just a pull. Score remains Washington on top of Washington State in the Apple Cup. Washington dodged the bullet with a missed short field goal. The Huskies lead 13-10. Let's check into the sideline with Zora Stephenson.
Well, Paul, just a quick update. We'll watch this play and get back to me.
There we go. Zora come right back to you. That's a nice lane for Will Rogers. Normally not a big runner, but when he says you give me that kind of room, I'll take it. Gain of 18. All right, Zora, come back in.
So I just wanted to update everyone on the injuries. The starting left tackle for Washington yet to go back on the field. He tried to do some shuffling reps. It's a no-go. Adrian Wilson did look okay, though. Remember, he's the safety from Washington State.
Zora, thank you. Gain of 4, and the Huskies taking a page out of the playbook of the Cougars and getting right back on the ball, operating with pace. Now they're going to huddle back up, and Rogers comes out. We expected to see a fair amount of this, and that's true freshman quarterback Damon Williams coming in. Initially a signee with Arizona, he actually moved to Tucson and was there for a few days. Jedd Fisch took the job. He said, I'm coming with you. And they continue to work him in. Damon Williams gives to Coleman. Cougar defense is there once again. Keep that to a gain of 2. Tanner Moku, the safety, makes the stop.
Yeah, third down here. It looks like he's going to leave Damon in the game, right? Feels comfortable with him. He told us yesterday, look, he's a great player. I want to get him involved. I don't feel like I have to bring receivers off the field when he goes on, and I think he can handle his own. And so here early in this game, right before the half, big third down for Damon in this Washington offense.
Amazing senior season, 50 touchdowns accounted for. Tough spot here on 3rd and 3. And an empty backfield. Williams quickly to Coleman. On the perimeter, the Cougars are there. No gain, the middle linebacker, Buda Alukta, makes the stop.
I mean, look, Washington's just going to run a little screen right behind the line of scrimmage here to Jonah Coleman, and watch Buda Alukta sheds the block, makes contact. I mean, what a play by Buda Alukta right there. Gets Washington State off the field and gives their offense one more chance right here before we get to the 2-minute timeout.
Wonderful pursuit and play there by the linebacker. And the Cougars will get the ball back. Tony Freeman back to receive. Getting close to the 2-minute timeout. McAllister's punt is away. Freeman sets up underneath it on the 9-yard line. Fair catch. They don't quite get to the 2-minute timeout. 2 seconds left. Coming up at halftime, big game in Madison between the Tide and the Badgers. Looks like Milroe is having a big afternoon. Florida State, wow, rough start for the Seminoles. And a recap of some of the action in the SEC. So 2:02 left. You've got the automatic 2-minute timeout coming up. Washington State also has all 3 timeouts left. You've got a quarterback, though, Colt. He's on the 9-yard line, only making his 3rd start for Jake Dickert. And now he's dipped under 50% passing. What do you do?
Yeah, this is a big drive for John Mateer here. But look, you don't have to do anything crazy. You've got 3 timeouts, really 4 with the 2-minute timeout. Hey, let's just get into our offense, get into our flow. We're built for this.
Mateer gonna pass. Oh, he's got some room, fires, that's a nice pass. Out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Josh Meredith, his 4th catch today.
That's our 2-minute timeout.
Gain of 25 yards at the 2-minute timeout. Turns those shoulders and puts it right on Meredith. See if the Cougars can keep it going right now. They trail by 3. Welcome back to Seattle. Looking forward to what's coming up with the Premier League. Premier League mornings. And a big matchup coming tomorrow. Bukayo Saka and Arsenal taking on Tottenham. We look forward to that tomorrow on the pitch. As for the gridiron, Big situation here for John Mateer. Third career start, played against Portland State and Texas Tech. This is his biggest moment yet. Right now he's 11 out of 22, $144. Down by 3, he's got all 3 timeouts left. Pocket, dancing, looking, and lets one go. Has an open man, he's got it. And still rolling down to the 29. Tony Freeman on the receiving end.
Good job by John Mateer, just buying time. He can't get to him. They're trying to contain. Let's not let him beat us with his legs. He finds Freeman down the sidelines for a big play. Plenty of time here, right? You got 3 timeouts. Let the clock tick down. Hey, Washington State just needs to end this drive with a kick, right? A field goal, an extra point. Get yourself feeling really good going into the half.
38-yard gain. Now they can run it. Little bit of room up the middle, up to the 25-yard line for Leo Pulalasi. Zach Durfee makes a tackle. All 3 timeouts still remaining for Washington State. Letting it tick now. They gain 4. Well within the field goal range of their kicker, Dean Janikowski. In his career, he has a long of 55. And this would be from 42. Mateer wants to move it to the end zone. Too much. And a late flag.
That's going to be holding on number 9, Thaddeus Dixon. It looked like Kyle Williams had a step on him, and Thaddeus just pulled his jersey.
If Thaddeus Dixon knew he was beat,
Defense number 9, 10-yard penalty. First down.
What he didn't know is that ball was over his head.
If you watch this right there, yep, he grabs the jersey, tries to pull himself back into play. Easy for the referee to see there. You know, I talked about finishing this drive with a kick. Obviously, Washington State would love to score a touchdown, right? But you still got plenty of time, 54 seconds, still got all 3 timeouts. Run your offense.
6 penalties now against Washington. First down and 10 for the 15. Trailing by 3. Mateer on the move. Ball tipped. Ball knocked down right as it came out of his hand by the veteran linebacker Carson Bruner. Clock stops, 50 seconds left.
That's a good play by Carson Bruner because John Mateer was outside of the pocket and had his receiver. Had a couple blockers. He may not score, but he's going to get possibly 5 or 6 yards and get out of bounds. Good play there by Carson Bruner.
Veteran field goal kicker for the Cougars, Dean Janikowski. 4th year as the starter, warming up on the sideline. Mateer, here comes the blitz. And down he goes. Alfonso Tuputala. Clock ticking. Clock still rolling. They have all those timeouts, 3 of them left. That's a loss of 10.
This is what you just can't do if you're Washington State, is take a sack in this situation. But Steve Belichick dials it up. He's got Alfonso
Washington State has
Tuputala.
called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 30 seconds. 3-0. Thank you.
Tuputala is going to rush and then circle back inside, and now there's nowhere for John Mateer to go. Sacks him, and the pressure that Washington just continues to create is a lot. And if you're John Mateer, you're just saying, just dirt it, just throw it away. But Tuputala got there quick, and now you're in a 3rd and long situation.
All right, so what's the call? Making the offensive coordinator here.
Yeah, look, I think you could still be a little bit aggressive, right? It's 3rd and 20. Maybe you throw a screen. Maybe you anticipate what Washington is going to do. They might come after you, but if I'm Washington, I'm probably going to play some version of coverage and just not let you have any chance at completing this first down and make you kick a field goal.
So right now it would be a 42-yard field goal. Doesn't sound like a lot of distance, but Dean Janikowski in his career is just 50% from 40 to 49 yards. He did make one today from 44 yards out. So 3rd down and 20. See how much they can get back here. They do still have 2 timeouts. They rush 4. He keeps it himself, and here he goes. John Mateer skipping inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars. 25-yard touchdown run, John Mateer, his second of the afternoon.
Wow. What a run by John Mateer. Are you kidding me? 3rd and 20. Quarterback draw right up the middle. Makes guys miss. Gets some blocks by his receivers. He goes in for the touchdown right here before half. Holy cow.
John Mateer ran for 197 yards last week. As a 23-yard touchdown run, now a 25. And the extra point sails through. Late in the second quarter in the Apple Cup, Cougars back on top.
Hey, this was QB run all the way. As soon as John Mateer gets the snap, he's following the running back right through the middle. Now the receivers pick up some blocks on the edge. He sets it up, finishing that run. Those receivers did a great job using their leverage, picking up a block. Watch them right here. They know it's a QB run the whole way. They're not even running routes. Let's just go set it up for our buddy John Mateer. Man, unbelievable job. You talk about a momentum-changing drive right there.
And what did Steve Belichick tell us yesterday? When you play a lot of man coverage, defensive backs are turned to the quarterback and they give him that kind of space. And Mateer has been happy to take advantage. If you're wearing crimson in Seattle today, you're high-fiving. They haven't won one of these. They've lost 9 of the last 10. Long way to go. But a strong first half here for John Mateer in his 3rd start.
And you see John Mateer right there. He's kind of shaking his head. You know why he's shaking his head? Is because I should not have taken a sack right there. But, buddy, you made up for it right there on 3rd and 20 with your legs, going down and scoring a touchdown and putting your team up going into the second half.
Easily sails through the back of the end zone. 21 seconds, 1 timeout called. Okay, let's reverse this. You've got a quarterback right there in Will Rogers. 43rd career starts. What do you do with him?
Yeah, look, Will Rogers has a ton of experience. I don't mind trying to take
Damon Williams comes in.
Damon Williams, here he comes. I don't mind, seeing if you can get, an explosive chunk right away. Maybe it's a draw. Maybe it's a little screen. There's something if you're playing real soft coverage by Washington State that might get, you can burn your time out and then take a shot to see if you can get in field goal range.
All right, Jedd Fisch has his true freshman quarterback in, Damon Williams. And he'll keep it himself. He's got some room out here. This will easily be a first down. And sprints down to the 37-yard line. Okay, chains move. Gain of 12. 14 seconds left.
And Damon Williams says, I see you, John Mateer, but I can do this too. Gets 12. Now they got 14 seconds. Still have that 1 timeout. I think you can push the ball down the field here and see if you can get yourself in field goal range.
Now the field goal kicker, Grady Gross, has a lot of experience. Hit the 42-yarder to win the Apple Cup last year. His career long, though, is only 47. So they've got some work to do to get in his range. Williams stays in. And Jonah Coleman had some room, incomplete. Clock stops, 9 seconds left.
Looks like Washington wanted to take a shot down the field. They did a really nice job in coverage, just staying back, staying on top of all the routes, which forced Damon to try to find the running back and just overshoots him there. But really not a bad deal. It'd probably be better that that ball was incomplete. Now you still have 9 seconds in a timeout. Try to get something down the field here.
You need about 25 yards to consider a field goal. And they'd have to use that last time out. Williams. He tries the left side this time, being chased out. And pushed out of bounds. 2 seconds left. Kapenagushikin in pursuit. Keeps that to a gain of 4. And only 2 ticks left until halftime.
Yeah, I'm a little curious right here. You bring in Damon Williams. You take Will Rogers off the field. You got a timeout in your back pocket. I kind of thought they'd push the ball down the field, try to get a completion. Got good receivers. They've made some plays today. Giles Jackson's got over top of the defense a couple times.
It's the first time Damon Williams has been in. Get more with Geico. Welcome back to Big Ten Saturday on Peacock, presented by Geico in Seattle for the Apple Cup. Got a great one here. Washington State leading for now 17-13 over the Huskies. We came on the air talking about the quarterbacks. Let's start with the veteran. Solid in the first half, 10 out of 14, buck 56. Had the touchdown to get their scoring started. But Washington State's John Mateer, he has been a lot of fun to watch in the air. Also on the ground, he's the leading passer in this game. Also the leading rusher in this game, has a couple of rushing touchdowns. And at the end of the half was very good as they went nearly the length of the field. Got to keep this one in mind there. We'll see if Washington cleans this up, Cole. Look at all those penalties against the Huskies, including 4 big ones for over 15 yards. Huskies get it to start. Keith Reynolds from his own goal line. Reynolds to the 25 and makes it out to the 27-yard line. Let's go to the sideline and check in with Zora.
Washington State head coach Jake Dickert told me he was pleased with the way his team handled the pressure from Steve Belichick and that Washington defense. One thing he wants to get cleaned up here in the second half is communication on both sides of the ball. For Jedd Fisch and Washington, he says this game will come down to the end like most rivalry matchups. He made it sound so simple. He said, get stops and scores. I said, okay, well, what was one message you told your guys? He said, 30 minutes left. Let's see what we can do.
30 minutes left in the 116th Apple Cup, and the fans know this well. It rains a lot here in Seattle. It didn't rain in the first half. The rain's starting to come down now. Will Rogers starts the second half, fumbling the snap, maybe a wet ball, and a scrum for it on the 22-yard line, and Washington gets it back, loss of 3.
Yeah, it looks like the ball just doesn't get up to Will Rogers. He never touches it. Actually, a really nice job by finding it, jumping on it. Yeah, you mentioned it, Paul. This rain starting to come down. I don't know if I ever played in a game up here in Seattle when it didn't rain a little bit.
Second and 13. Keep faking now over the middle. Across the 30 and out to the 36-yard line goes Keleki Latu, his second catch today. They get a lot back there with 12 yards.
Yeah, I think this second half we'll try to see if we can get some of these tight ends going. He's going to fake the screen, kind of settle his feet, right? Just leak up the seam.
And
Got a penalty coming in.
They were going to get right back on it on third down, and a long yard penalty comes in.
Full start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So that's against the center, D'Angelo Titi Alili. He's the one who couldn't get the snap back on the first play of this half. Tough start to his third quarter. 7th penalty against the Huskies. Turns third down and 1 into third down and 6. Rogers against the 4-man rush. Over the middle. That's a completion. Little bit short. It'll come down to the mark. Denzel Boston on the crosser. He got about 5.5, where they're going to give him the first down. Chains move. Stephen Hall made the tackle, but not before Boston had the first down. And now right back to the air, right back to Boston, and too much. Rogers hit right as he released the ball.
Yeah, that's a good job by Will Rogers, rushing up to the football after this third down play. He's like, hey, look, we're not going to let them measure this. I think he got it, but we're kind of unsure. Gets up, gets this ball snap. Just a misfire over the top of Denzel Boston right there, but that's experienced quarterback play right there showing up.
Jedd Fisch watched Will Rogers beat his Arizona Wildcats twice when Rogers was at Mississippi State. Hopes he can bring him back here. Jonah Coleman, good cut, and now a race. Stiff arm, and another. Ho, ho, ho. Kepenegushikin finally pushed him out, but that's a gain of 29.
Watch this move by Jonah Coleman. Once he gets through the line of scrimmage, he's going to be out in space. Nice block by the receiver, little juke there, then a stiff arm. Jonah Coleman, what a run right there. Big explosive powerful runner. Anytime you can get these explosive plays in the run game, it just relieves you so much in the passing game.
Coleman averaged 8.5 yards per carry last year at Arizona's second best in the Pac-12. Now they run it up the middle. Coleman out. Davis comes in, makes it out to the 32-yard line. His second carry today. Picks up 3.
Kind of a crazy drive right here. First snap. Center doesn't get it to the quarterback. They're playing second and long. They get a third down conversion versus zone, and then a big run. Now it's a good job making up for a few mistakes early in the drive.
Jedd Fisch told us yesterday, we're not going to win this just showing up and throwing it all over the yard. We have to run the ball well throughout the whole game. Running game has them right here on the 31-yard line. Now the play action. Rogers back over the middle, complete, and a first down. Still rolling. Inside the 15. True freshman tight end, Decker DeGraff. Picks up 19.
In these pro-style offense, looks very similar to a Sean McVay-style offense. You have to have tight ends that can be capable blockers, but also make some plays in the pass game. He's Leighton Reed, does a nice job sealing the edge. Lower your pads, big fella. Nice job, run after catch. And for a little check down on a bootleg, turns into 15 yards and a first down.
8th play of this drive, Decker DeGraff, true freshman, his first 2 catches went for touchdowns this season. This one sets him up on the 10-yard line. Muhammad now the tailback. He takes the pitch, tries to cut it back, almost survived that tackle, gets a little bit inside the 10 to pick up 1 yard. Andrew Edson, the defensive end, makes the stop. We've had 6 lead changes already in this Apple Cup. Washington wants to make it 7 here early in the 3rd.
Sticking to the run game here, we've seen 3 running backs in this drive. The freshman Adam Muhammad, Jonah Coleman with a big explosive run. Cameron Davis spelled him for a couple plays. Good job rotating these guys, keeping them fresh.
Exactly as Jedd Fisch said it would go. They'll lead with Coleman, they'll follow with Muhammad and Davis. Quick snap, penalty marker comes out.
Full start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
The bad pattern continues for Jedd Fisch.
Penalties are really hurting them. And if you're Jedd Fisch, you're just like, come on, guys, we practiced this all week. We're going to rush the ball. Everybody gets set. We're trying to catch the defense off guard. And Denzel Boston just, thinks he may be ahead of the ball, backs up a hair right as the ball is getting snapped. You got to avoid those pre-snap penalties.
8th one in this game, 2nd on this drive. Rogers pumps, now throws to the end zone. Too much. Outshot Audric Harris. First time he's been targeted here this afternoon. Now they'll face 3rd down and 14.
I like that call on 2nd and long, right? Let's pump the little bubble screen, see if we can get a zone defender with some bad eyes. Will Rogers had Audric Harris for a step, just kind of overshot him there.
Huskies have converted 3 out of 7 on 3rd down. Rogers wants that one back. 10th play of this drive. Need to get inside the 3-yard line for a first. Rogers quickly out of his hands and a catch inside the 10. Giles Jackson pushed out of bounds right away. 8-yard gain. Get a little closer for the field goal now.
Pretty good job by Will Rogers. He knows he's about to get heated up, but watch Buda Alukta come right up the middle. Will Rogers just stands there, knows, hey, look, I got to get the ball. I can't take a sack in this situation. I know I'm not going to convert, but let me get our field goal kicker a little bit closer. Created chip shot. Good drive here by Washington. Started this 3rd quarter.
And Colt, that field goal kicker is Grady Gross. Good today from 44 and 42. This one from 24. Gross is 3 for 3. And those 3 points bring Washington to within 1 of Washington State. Their first drive in the 3rd quarter brings them to within 17-16. 116th Apple Cup is a good one. Welcome back to Seattle. John Mateer in his 3rd career start. His first Apple Cup has been a fun watch. Almost 200 yards passing. He has a couple of touchdown runs. Leads this game in passing yards and rushing yards. And a lot of this will fall to him in the 2nd half. Right now, his side leads by 1. Ben Arbuckle is 28-year-old offensive coordinator, talking to him before his first drive here of this third quarter. Will Rogers just led the Huskies down. 24-yard field goal from Grady Gross. Kick is away. Gross is now 3 for 3 this afternoon. And Lathon Smithson looking for room across the 20. And this Cougar drive will begin on the 23-yard line. We saw Mateer's numbers. Here's what his play looked like in the first half.
Yeah, look, when you're playing against John Mateer, you want to try to make him step outside, release outside, right? When he gets outside, there's people in his face, causes a throwaway, not a lot there. But when John Mateer can step up, right? If you give him a lane to step up, that's when big plays happen for this Cougar offense. You got to turn him into a passer, right? Not let him beat you with your legs.
So how do you turn him into a passer if you're Steve Belichick?
A lot of different packages, making sure that you just contain him in the pocket, that your rush lane integrity is solid. Everybody has a gap. You can't let him get outside.
In the pocket now, second and third. Reed, look at that time. Touch pass. The teardrop to Kyle Williams. Picks up 11.
And this is a great answer by John Mateer. This is honestly what we haven't seen, right? Little touch pass. He's got all day. He's not panicked. He stays in the pocket. Kind of touches it over Zach Durfee there for a first down. Really good job here by John Mateer.
Got off to a good start, which is something he hasn't done so far. First game, he said, hey, give me a break. I was nervous. It was my first start. Second game, early I was just bad. He's been pretty good the whole way today. Empty backfield. Another good pocket. Lets it go deep. Too much. Wanted Kyle Williams. About a yard too much to bring up second down.
Good protection up front right here by Washington State. They're showing 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage. John Mateer's able to take a drop, set his feet, just an overshot right here.
So he missed on the throw, Colt, but that was well protected by the offensive line against that blitz. Yeah, the perfect pocket. Second down 10. And a flag comes out. And another.
Substitution infraction. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 12 players on the field.
See the raindrops there on the shoulder of the head coach of Washington State, Jake Dickert. We didn't see it in the first half. Started late at halftime. Steve Belichick runs the show for the Washington defense. They hadn't given up a touchdown through 2 games. Today, they've given up 2, both running from John Mateer. Rolls out, in trouble. Escapes for a moment, absorbs a giant hit there on the 31-yard line. Carson Bruner, veteran linebacker, was there. And it'll be third down and long.
Yeah, we haven't really called his name much tonight, but I want you to watch Isaiah Ward off the edge here, right? Him and Zach Durfee, really good edge setters in this defense. Misses him there, but makes him run up in the pocket to all his other buddies. Keeps Washington State here in a third and long situation.
Huskies fans sense that they had a little win to start the third quarter. Field goal drive. Now they have the Cougars third down and 13. Penalty. Didn't get it off. Play clock went to 0s.
Ball start. Offense number 57. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So movement before they went to 0s. Rain picking up a little bit here.
Yeah, you're going to get the left guard here, Roderick Tialavea. This crowd noise is pretty loud right now from the Washington Huskies fans. Went a little early there.
Third down and 18. Last time they had third and long, it was third and 20. Mateer ran for a touchdown. Penalty. Sack. Goes down to the 19. 2 separate penalties there, about 2 seconds apart. Alfonso Tuputala for a loss of 6. And we'll check in with Steve Barron.
Gonna get a holding call down here on the outside.
Holding. Defense number 3. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Boy, oh boy, penalties haunting the Huskies right now.
Yeah, they're going to get number 3, Jordan Shaw, the nickel, right? Washington's doing a good job of disguising their coverages. He's sort of the flat player, shoves his receiver down as he gets into his, thirds. It's just something you can't do right there.
Matier from the shotgun gives up the middle. Nice hole. Breaking tackles and a good cut. Wayshawn Parker. True freshman down to the 25-yard line.
Wayshawn Parker right here, falling behind his left tackle, makes Cameron Broussard miss. Wow, that's a great run. Good, strong run. Good finish. Got the Cougars in field goal range now.
Gain of 37, easily the best running play not provided by Matier so far for the Cougars. 1st and 10. 4 men on the rush. On time and on target. Spinning out for a first down is Chris Hudson. Picked up an extra 5 on his own. Totals 12 yards and another first down. Washington had a sack on 3rd and 18. And then a penalty allowed the drive to keep moving. Big run play, 12-yard pass, knock it on the scoring door again.
And what Washington State is doing a good job is they're just winning their matchups. It's just one-on-one coverage. He runs a stop route, makes a nice catch, good run after the catch.
Pulalasi, the tailback, out to the right, another touch pass, another one on target, and another touchdown Cougars. Josh Meredith. yards, Matier to Meredith, and it's 23-16.
And this is a really good job by Washington State. Watch this protection here as John Matier just moves out of the pocket. Right, Cooper Maylor's going to stay in there. The running back's going to stay in there. Make sure the edge is secure. Really nice touch pass by John Matier. Floats it out there to his boy Josh Meredith for 6.
Oh, we knew he had a strong arm, but he got out the pitching wedge a couple of times there on that drive. Colt, the touch pass to start and to end. True freshman Wayshawn Parker got this one started right up the middle and a little bit of speed. Love the cut right there. John Matier knew what to do from that point. Rollout to Meredith. Cougars lead by 8. Ready to bring the big screen to your screen? Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt star in The Fall Guy, a love letter to action movies and the hardworking crew of people who make them. Stream The Fall Guy and The Fall Guy Extended Cut, now only on Peacock. Great look there at the skyline in Seattle, and John Matier, boy, what an afternoon he is having in his first Apple Cup. You see, last week he ran for almost 200 yards. This week, the run has been good, a couple of touchdown runs, but his passing has been even better. And he has paved the way to a 24-16 lead. Head coach Jake Dickert told us during the week, I like my quarterback, I like our matchups outside. If we can block up front, I feel good about what's going to happen. And so far, his offensive line has been strong. Okay, now we go back to Will Rogers as Matier takes a break. And you know he's been in this spot before, Colt. You were also a fourth-year starting quarterback. You're down in the third quarter, your 43rd start. Your heartbeat shouldn't raise too much.
Well, I don't think his heartbeat's raising too much. I think he's a little bit concerned about this rain. I just want to get the snap, right? They went down and scored 3 earlier. So first down here, got the ball at the 25. I think they just got to stay within the flow of their offense. They've been clicking pretty good so far.
In my mind, Colt, your heart rate didn't go up until late in the fourth quarter.
That's right.
That's my image. First and 10, Rogers. Quick release and an open sideline to Jeremiah Hunter. Broken tackle gets him out to the 40-yard line. First catch of his afternoon gets him 14.
Yeah, you know, Will Rogers is poised, right? He's very confident. He's been in situations like this many times, playing in the SEC, those loud stadiums and environments. I don't think his heartbeat is up right now, but he knows, hey, listen, I'm down right now, and we gotta go make a play.
In those 43 starts, multiple times against a Nick Saban defense, against a Kirby Smart defense. Now with an 8-point deficit here in the Apple Cup. Cam Davis skipping through the right side, finds success there. Picks up 6 on first down as we go to the sidelines for Zora.
Well, Paul, you were talking about the experience of Will Rogers. His passion for this game of football started at a young age. His dad was the offensive coordinator at Brandon High School in Mississippi. Rogers told me ever since 4th grade, you could find him on a headset in the press box charting plays. He even has memories of taking the bus from the elementary school over to the high school just to catch football practice.
As we were listening to him talk about that, Zora, yesterday, Colt McCoy was in the back nodding his head. Similar background to what he had. Will Rogers puts it right on Denzel Boston. Good catch there on the 50-yard line. Looks like he'll have just enough to move the chains. Ethan O'Connor was the corner, but that's a pitch and catch for first down. And Colt, riding the bus from your elementary school to your dad's practice sounded pretty familiar to you.
It sure did. I had many days like that, taking the bus from the elementary school just to go be around your dad and the coaching staff and all those players. I was smiling when he was talking about his dad being his head coach. Those are some great memories.
And what a great backdrop for him to have that being around football, listening to play calls his entire life. Cam Davis, good hesitation and then a burst. And an excellent finish down to the 40-yard line. Cal Thornton, the captain linebacker, on the wrong end of that one. Gain of 11.
And now they're going to hustle the ball, but Will's just a professional, right? You heard Jedd Fisch tell us that yesterday.
Cam Davis again, back-to-back carries down to the 37-yard line. This time for a first down after a gain of 2. Go ahead, Colt.
Yeah, I like what they're doing right here, right? It's rain's coming down. They said, well, let's just get in a 2-back formation. Let's run the football downhill. We'll run a little bootleg keeper, get an easy pass out there. We'll throw an easy slant route to Denzel Boston. We'll chew up some of this clock and kind of lean on this Washington State defensive line with our big boys up front.
And those big boys up front for Jedd Fisch, Colt, are doing awfully well. They almost have as many rushing yards right now in the third quarter as they did in the entire first half. First and 10, Rogers off the back foot. Boston drilled as he caught the ball. Cal Thornton comes back with a big stick.
Yeah, Washington State just playing zone coverage right here. Watch Kyle Thornton. He's just going to drop back into his coverage zone. Sees the shallow runner. Breaks on the football.
Second down 8. There's a veteran quarterback taking advantage of a soft corner. Ball came out of bounds. Jeremiah Hunter, second catch of his afternoon. Right in front of Stephen Hall. Gain of 6, couple of yards short of the first down. Hunter had 1,600 receiving yards the last 2 years at Cal.
Ruled on the field was a catch, and the runner was out of bounds.
That was a catch. Rain continues to come down. It's been a third quarter theme here. Didn't happen until late halftime. So here we have third down and 2. Cam Davis remains the tailback. Davis up the middle, hesitates, and he got out there just enough. Davis has been the workhorse on this drive. Giles Jackson, the wide receiver, with a key block for that first down run.
That's right. Anytime you can have your leading receiver, he's over 100 yards right now. Giles Jackson be your lead blocker on a 3rd and 1 situation. Right, that's pretty crazy. Good job by Cam Davis lowering his pads one-on-one with Buda Al-Ukta, falling for a first down.
Giles Jackson, one of the wide receivers who had to wait his turn here. They had 3 wide receivers get drafted in the first 3 rounds last year. There's a block. Finally getting his chance and doing well. Rogers steps up. Far sideline, out of bounds. Tight end Owen Coots, the intended receiver. Crowd wants a flag, and it doesn't happen.
I'd like to see Washington just kind of stay with that run, right? They've been running it pretty good on 1st and 2nd down. Went into a drop back situation right there. Washington State had really nice coverage on everybody. I didn't see much open there.
Washington over 100 yards rushing now for the afternoon as we approach the final minute of the Apple Cup. Cougars on top by 8. Now Jonah Coleman back in the game. And they give it right to him. Survives the first hit there and gets down to the 24-yard line. Andrew Edson, defensive end, makes the stop. Gain of 4. Now we're inside of 1 minute. Washington has won 9 of the last 10 Apple Cups. They'll have to come from behind to get this one. Rogers still looking to throw. Have to keep it himself. Absorbs a hit there on the 26-yard line. Edson again there. Loss of 1.
Really nice job by Washington State's defense. They're going to be all up in the line of scrimmage, and they're going to bail out before the snap. Play zone coverage. Washington was trying to rush the ball, play quick. When they dropped out in zone coverage, Will Rogers had nowhere to go with the football. Nice stop by Washington State here, making them settle for a field goal.
Brady Gross, good from 44, 42, and 24 so far today. This from 43 yards out. Final seconds of the third quarter. Just barely got that one off. And Grady Gross stays hot in the Apple Cup. He had the game winner from 42 yards out last year. Now let's see if he got this one off. That would make him 4 for 4. Take another look there. Keep an eye on the clock. They just got that one off. And that's how the third quarter comes to an end. Grady Gross is 4 for 4. We've got exactly what we wanted here in Seattle in the first time the Apple Cup has been played in September. A tight one heading into the fourth quarter. Rain picks up. Cougars lead by 5. 1 quarter left here in the 116th Apple Cup. It begins with the Cougars on top of the Huskies 24-19. John Mateer about to take the field one more time. Will Rogers gets a rest after leading a field goal drive. First time they did it back in 1900, it was a 5-5 tie. Been working a 5 here to start the fourth. That's the Cougars' cushion. We're near out of bounds. Here comes Smithson. And he'll work that far sideline out across the 20-yard line. And so the fourth quarter begins. Third career start for John Mateer. He's been very good today, Colt, through the air, also running the ball. We expected him to be good running. Maybe he's been a little better passing.
He's been great. Really like what Coach Ben Arbuckle has done for him. Moved the pocket, changed where he's throwing the football, right? I'm not just going to drop him back. Early in the game, we saw a lot of quick game. That last drive, we saw him, run keepers where he gets some touch balls in the flat for a touchdown. Like switching that up, and then when he's had to depend on his legs, he's done a great job. Scored 2 touchdowns. Pretty impressive so far.
Wayshawn Parker, the tailback. Leading rusher for the Cougars right now. Just gets past a blitzer. And quickly out near the 30-yard line. Nifty run there to avoid negative yardage and picks up 6. But Wayshawn Parker in high school, Colt, kind of a quiet recruit. Jake Dickert said they offered him after his junior season. They hoped he wouldn't have a big senior year. Back to that. Mateer from the pocket lets it go deep. And that's too much for Tony Freeman. It'll bring up third down. But they thought they could sneak in on Wayshawn Parker after a quiet sophomore and junior season. And then he had a giant senior year, ran for over 2,000 yards. But he kept his commitment to the Cougars, and here he is starring in the Apple Cup. Third down and 4 coming up.
See what Washington does right here. Are we going to come after John Mateer one more time? We're going to play some coverage. Got to do something to stop him.
Purple in the crowd senses a big third down here. Mateer, Williams, no first down unless he reached for it at the end, and he might have. A little extra surge. He gained 4, and yes, he did. The fight at the end for the first.
Good job by John Mateer here, checking to a little screen. You're going to get 2 blockers out front with your receivers, and Kyle Williams is just going to fall forward for a first down. It's an easy completion, easy throw. It shows you that John Mateer is just kind of, he's comfortable right now. He's seeing things, he's making checks.
And let's not overlook that one. He's had some big plays that'll make highlight rips. That will not make the highlight. but it was on time. It was on target. Keeps the clock moving.
Yeah, he didn't panic. Saw what he saw, trusted it.
Ben Arbuckle, his offensive coordinator there, communicating with him inside his helmet. To do so down to the 15-second mark of the play clock. Mateer, quarterback draw, driven backwards. Inside linebacker Alfonso Tuputala keeps that to no gain.
Yeah, here goes Tuputala right here. Coming in here to make a big stop on the quarterback. And if you're John Mateer, these are the ones that you're going to feel in the morning, right? You got Sebastian Valdez, Tuputala landing on top of you. Those hurt.
Come right back down to another key third down. This time it's 3rd and 7. Here comes a linebacker blitz. Mateer with his legs and run out of bounds. And no penalty this time. That's key because they have extended multiple drives with penalties against the Huskies. And here comes the punt team after no gain.
It's almost 100% of the time you're going to get heated up on 3rd down by Steve Belichick, right? Washington does a nice job containing him, making him run side to side. Good coverage in the back end. Makes Washington State punt it away on 4th down.
Dean Janikowski, field goal kicker, also doubling as the punter with an injury to Nick Haberer. Denzel Boston awaits. High end over end punt, fair catch. In between the 21 and 22 yard line. Husky defense did its job. We'll see if the Washington offense can do the same. Early in the 4th quarter, Cougars lead by 5. Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule, brought to you by Geico. This evening, Indiana, UCLA, 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. And then next Saturday, Miami of Ohio against Notre Dame, Fighting Irish rolling today, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. And the battle for Floyd of Rosedale, Iowa, Minnesota, 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC and also on Peacock. We've got an awesome game here in the Apple Cup. Early in the 4th quarter, Washington State on top 24-19, but Will Rogers and the Husky offense back on the field. Jonah Coleman cutting the backfield. And he's still rolling, but ripped down before he got to the 25. Good pursuit there. And Adrian Wilson, the free safety, finished him off. So Will Rogers came to play for Jedd Fisch, wanted to play in an NFL system after starting 40 games at Mississippi State. He's played in the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss, but he's feeling the energy here as Washington State leads by 5. Right back to the air, in trouble, down he goes. Sacked at the 17-yard line. Ray-M Stevenson, loss of 8.
Got to be a little bit better in protection here if you're Washington. Ray-M Stevenson is just going to come around the edge right here, find the quarterback. It's kind of a miscommunication there by the right tackle, Drew Azzopardi. That just can't happen. It's tough.
Now they've got their work cut out for them. 3rd down and 15. Right back up to 20. A couple, 3 penalties come out, and they'll back them up 5.
Ball start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, Paul, I don't know if the ball's wet. He's trying to, he's losing his grip as he's over the ball before the snap, or if he's just kind of snapping it early, or maybe the crowd's a little bit too loud. Just doesn't get the snap. Everybody else is ready to go. He's a little late.
10th penalty backs him up 5. They take a shot there. Now he's got some work to do. He gets out to the 24, well short of a 1st down. Denzel Boston. It's a nice game, but when it's 3rd and forever, the punt team comes out.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? Just avoiding these pre-snap penalties, right? They've had so many penalties on defense so far, and right here you're kind of ahead of the chains to start the drive, and then you get a sack, you get another penalty. Those things are just hard to overcome.
Will Rogers goes to the sideline now, knowing he can really only count on one more real possession. And that'll be the kind of conversation he has with Jedd Fisch. Play clock at 7. Tony Freeman awaits the punt. Low spiraling punt, chance for a return from his own 30. Hesitates. Far sideline and tried to tiptoe the boundary. Late penalty comes in from the opposite side of the field. So far 10 penalties against Washington, only 4 against Washington State. And an injured Husky on the far side.
During the return, illegal blindside block, receiving team number 24. 15-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of the run. First down.
Anthony Ward, the injured linebacker for Washington, who got up and walked off the field by himself. Jake Dickert doesn't like the call. And there's a look at the tail end right there. Apple Cup continues. Ooh, big hit after this.
The penalty was on number 20.
Welcome back to Seattle. Washington State leads in the Apple Cup 24-19. Just before the break, penalty called against the Cougars for a blindside block. We bring in our rules analyst, Reggie Smith, to take another look. And Reggie, as we see it again, what did you think of that call?
Paul, I didn't like the call. Number 25 for Washington State approaches from a head-up position. He's head-on head, and he does not approach from outside the field of vision of the recipient of the hit. So that is the definition of a blindside hit when a potential blocker can't recover.
Reggie, thank you. First down and 10 now for Washington State to start this drive. Right to the air, Mateer. Eyes downfield, keeps it himself. Oh! Took a big hit there before he got to the 35. Wrapped up high, picks up 4. Now that's Carson Bruner, captain, 5th-year senior. The legacy Husky. His dad, Mark, played tight end here. Take a look at the play as Carson Bruner gets up. He is now jogging off the field. Mateer will eventually keep it and watch the linebacker come up from the backside. It goes down on his left side. Back to Seattle right. Senior linebacker captain Carson Bruner came off the field with some kind of injury to his left side on the previous play, and he remains on the sideline. Someone they want on the field every chance they get. Second down, Mateer himself spins out to the 42-yard line. Good enough for another Cougar first down, gain of 6.
Big hit here by Byron Parham. You know, designed quarterback run here by John Mateer. He gets the first down, but these are the hits you just don't want to see him take. Spin move in midair. Wow, that's a tough hit there.
Ryan Parham, last 3 years at San Jose State, first season at Washington. In an important spot now if he has to go the rest of the way with Carson Bruner on the bench. First and 10 for Mateer. Again keeps it, again finds room. He's finished off by Tupatala, but they'll take that on first down every time now. A gain of 7 with that kind of lead. 24-19, and there goes Bruner to the locker room. He was the leading tackler for the Huskies in this game last year.
2 back-to-back design quarterback runs there to John Mateer. They're trying to eat up some of this clock. Keeping it on the ground. Rain still coming down.
Still got plenty of time on the play clock if they want to work it down. It just hit 10 right now. Second down 4. Mateer drills one on the near sideline. Intercepted. Picked off by Thaddeus Dixon. And he's got blockers out front. Dixon out to the 38-yard line.
Well, they tried to take a couple shots down the field tonight. Here's another one right here. I think Washington might have got away with a holding penalty, but it's a good job making the interception right there, Thaddeus Dixon. Wait, is there a flag on the field?
Thaddeus Dixon had an interception in the Apple Cup last year and has another one here, and boy, did his Huskies need it. 8:14 left. Washington State leads by 5. Sunday night, two young phenoms go head-to-head when Caleb Williams and the Bears take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern on NBC and Peacock. We look forward to that one. We also look forward to a great finish here in the Apple Cup in Seattle. Washington State on top of Washington, 24-19. Key play just happened. First pick of the day for John Mateer.
Yeah, look, they're running the football well. Leaves it short right here. He's overthrown a couple guys, earlier in the game. I like what they were doing, just kind of keeping it on the ground, and a big mistake, and now Washington's got the football. And if you're Washington and you're Coach Jedd Fisch, you're saying, hey, boys, we're down 5, right? Let's see what we're made of. We got to come out here, put a drive together, and go win this thing.
Hey, Jedd Fisch with 11 brand new starters on offense, and really a lot of people around the college football world want to see what Washington has with this brand new offense. Down by 5 in the Apple Cup, 7:40 left. We're about to find out. Jonah Coleman kicks it outside. That was a wise choice. First down, Huskies. Now inside of Washington State territory. Adrian Wilson makes the stop. Ground game gets him down to the 45. And they're right back on the ball after that gain of 14. Rogers fakes it this time. In trouble and lets it go. Now, was he outside the tackle box? Washington State wants an intentional grounding. Pressure from Andrew Edson. Well, that's exactly what they're discussing. And now the flag comes out.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 7. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Penalty includes a loss of down. Will be second down.
Our rules analyst, Reggie Smith, was watching that one. What'd you see?
This was a very good call for intentional grounding. The quarterback fails to get outside the pocket, throws the ball to an area where there's no receiver, and this is a 2 official call. The referee and the line judge work in tandem to piece together the information necessary to make this a correct call.
Reggie, thank you. And that now brings up second down and long. Second down and 23. Try to get some back over the middle. Giles Jackson between the hashes, now back inside of Cougar territory. A good chunk there of 8 to make it a little bit more manageable on third down. But, Colt, this is still third and awfully tough here. Third down and 14.
Big call right here.
They bring the safety blitz. Thrown behind Rashid Williams. Makes the catch, but he's 5 yards short. They'll make it 6 yards short. How bold do they want to be? They're telling you right now, they're going for it. Penalty, 3 of them.
False start, offense number 85, 5-yard penalty.
I just don't know what they're trying to do. We're rushing the ball on third down. Everybody's up-tempo, getting to the line of scrimmage. Then we're going to go fast on fourth down again. It's like you got a lot of time on the clock. You got an experienced quarterback. Just be within your system. And right here, you see it. Not on the same page. Another pre-snap penalty in, the biggest drive of their season.
Third penalty against Washington, trying to go with that hurry up and the quick snap. It has not worked for them. Very much worked against them. Jack McAllister on his own 40. Tony Freeman, high end over end punt. He calls for the fair catch right away on the 11-yard line. 6 minutes left. John Mateer, after he threw a pick on the last possession, back on the field. Getting awfully close to Big Ten Saturday nights. Indiana, UCLA, beginning on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night, presented by Discover. The Bruins and the Hoosiers arriving in Pasadena, showing up at the Rose Bowl. We look forward to Indiana and UCLA tonight. Here in the Apple Cup in Seattle, 6 minutes left. Washington State leads 24-19. And John Mateer with a chance to respond here in a big spot through a pick last time he was on the field. First down on his own 11. Gives inside. Big hit on Wayshawn Parker. No gain. Alfonso Tuputala with the stop. Thinking about the Husky linebackers, we bring in Zora.
Paul, right now Washington is without two separate linebackers. We saw Carson Bruner go into the locker room, but Anthony Ward joined him as well. Both were able to walk in by themselves, but they have yet to return to the field.
Zora, thank you. So Tuputala on the field right now, 6-year veteran and captain with Brian Parham. He wears number 6, his first season on campus in Seattle. Second down 10, they're going to throw it. Mateer, nice pocket, and a strike. Well done between the hashes for a first down. Josh Meredith continues his big day. He's over 100 yards, 22 that time.
And a great response by John Mateer. After that interception, comes back on the field, throws a strike to Josh Meredith right across the middle. And that's in front of a defense that was playing 7, 8 men in coverage. Finds a little soft spot in there. Got him a big first down.
Hey, Cole, how about the confidence shown in the guy making his 3rd start on 2nd down? You're trying to protect that lead deep in your own territory. Good call and a great throw. Wayshawn Parker, the fake. Mateer brought down again by who else? Tuputala. They use him all over the field. And without Bruner, they need him even more. No gain.
I mean, I feel like we've been calling Tuputala's name all night. He's always constantly in the backfield. Another big play by him. Gets washed down. Sees the quarterback design run. Gets a tackle for loss.
Now let's see how conservative they want to be now. Clock ticking, 4-minute mark. They're up by 5. Second down 10. Linebacker blitz. Mateer over the middle. Intercepted. Picked off by Ephesians Prysock.
The ruling on the field is an interception. First down, Washington.
Second pick of the 4th quarter thrown by Mateer.
Ephesians Prysock is a big, strong, physical corner. It's a nice job recognizing this route, a little under route, a little slant route. He jumps it. Mateer doesn't throw that bad of a ball. But Ephesians just jumps in front of the ball. And I'm not sure if he caught that. I think that ball might touch the ground here.
The ruling on the field is an interception. The previous play is under further review.
All right, we will continue to take a look at the replays here. Did this ball hit the ground or did he pick it off? It was called an interception on the field. Reggie Smith, what are you seeing?
Seeing a tight pass, but to me, I don't believe that there's enough to overturn the ruling on the field. This will most likely stand as an interception.
I think everyone sees the ball touching the ground, Reggie. Good to keep in mind that you can maintain possession even with the ball touching the ground, right?
That is correct, Paul. Even if the ball touches the ground, if the defender has firm control of the ball is allowed to hit the ground. However, I don't see the ball move in this case. I don't believe replay will be able to confirm, but I definitely don't see enough to overturn this. This should stand.
So the ball does touch the ground. The question is, did he keep control? Does he have control in spite of it hitting the ground? Called a pick on the field. Would be Mateer's 2nd interception of this 4th quarter.
Yeah, this is the biggest call of the game. To me, it looks like the ball hits his arm. I don't know how much control he has of the football. And I know the ball certainly hits the ground, so.
Steve Belichick, the defensive coordinator, telling us yesterday he loved how tall his corners here are in Washington, both over 6 feet. Dixon and Prysock when they were under 6 feet in New England. Said it's a real asset he has here, and each has made a giant play here in this 4th quarter if this interception stands. Mateer can only sit and watch and hope that it gets overturned. Called an interception by Prysock. And they continue to look.
if this call stands, it's just great man coverage. I mean, listen, John Mateer knows he has his one-on-one. Ephesians Prysock jumps it, makes a really good play on the ball.
He's one of the players who came with Jedd Fisch from Tucson to Seattle, spent the last 2 years at Arizona. First season here as a Husky. We're about to find out if he did indeed make a huge play here late in the Apple Cup.
The hard part for me on this is that the ball originally hits his arm and then kind of bounces into his hand about the same time the ball touches the ground. I know it's called an interception, but at the same time, it's not like he caught the ball with his hands originally right away.
Now they're taking an awful long time, so now we're finally going to get the call.
After review, it was determined that the pass is incomplete. It will be Washington State ball, 3rd and 10 on the 33-yard line.
Reggie Smith, your response.
Well, this was very hard in real time, but instant replay must have seen something that showed a loss of control from the defender. I don't see this as a loss of control. Again, I still feel the best decision would have been to allow this to stand. I just don't believe it's indisputable.
And they really had to see something that led him in that way, because it was called an interception on the field. That initial ricochet off his chest may have cost him. Big break for Washington State. They keep the ball up by 5 here in the Apple Cup inside of 4 minutes left. So now they're right back to a key 3rd down. It's 3rd down and 10. Penalty, 2 of them. The Cougars are saying it was the Huskies that jumped early. Washington already has 13 penalties against them.
Both are pointing at each other.
False start, offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
5th penalty against the Cougars backs them up to face a 3rd down and 15. So Washington did not get the turnover with that called pick on the field, but a chance to get the ball back here. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, we need to get a good play call here into John Mateer. Look, he almost threw an interception. Now their center, Dylan Kalani, moved early. They got a false start penalty, right? Let's get something easy here and keep this clock running.
Scored a touchdown on a quarterback draw on 3rd and 20 earlier. Another penalty just before the snap. Again, both sides pointing at the other.
I think you're going to get another false start.
Delay of game, defense, disconcerting signal, 5-yard penalty,
Oh, wow.
3rd down. Timer.
So they get 5 yards and they give it right back, and we are right back to where we started. That's 3rd down and 10.
It's a
on their own
wash.
33. Wipe it clean. Play 3rd and 10 again. See what Steve Belichick comes up with. Five-man rush. Mateer, sideline, short of the 1st down. Cal Williams, no catch.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass, 4th down.
Let's bring Reggie Smith, our rules analyst, back in one more time on that last penalty, the disconcerting signal.
So when the defense was penalized on the last play, the officials got together and discussed that, hey, they must be doing something to simulate the snap, or a person lined up within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage has made a move unnatural to the game in the attempt to cause a false start.
Reggie, thank you. Janikowski, no rush, punts it away to Denzel Boston. From the 30, fair catch. And that's where a defining drive for Will Rogers in his 43rd career start. 40 at Mississippi State, now just his 3rd at Washington, will begin. 116th Apple Cup, Cougars lead by 5. The second half possessions here, Washington started out with success, back-to-back field goals. Gross is 4 for 4 today, then a couple of punts. And they do have all 3 timeouts left.
If you're Will Rogers, this is why you came here, right? This is a situation all quarterbacks want to be in. Down.
Right to the air on the rollout. Sets up, lets it go deep. Giles Jackson, got it! Jackson with a monster afternoon, sets him up on the 24.
That is a big-time throw for Will Rogers. He took a lick as he was throwing it, but watch Giles Jackson. He's going to run, fake the corner, run the post. Makes another big play down the field.
45-yard gain. Officials blow the whistles and move the chains.
Officials timeout while we fix the chains.
I mean, if you go back to this play, Will Rogers took a shot and stood in there and threw a strike to his playmaker, Giles Jackson.
So they set up Rogers way outside the pocket. Giant hit from Webster. Giles Jackson, 7 catches, 154 yards, and a touchdown. And now Damon Williams in the game. He sees the left side. Decent gain there on first down as he sprints out of bounds. Damon Williams has been in on 3 different series, picks up 7 yards there.
Pretty nice luxury if you're Washington to have a backup quarterback that could come in and get you 5 or 6 or 7 yards at a time. That's what he's done today. Let Will Rogers catch his breath. He might have got his breath knocked out of him.
Damon Williams, 2,700 yards rushing in high school in Phoenix. Hands off inside. Coleman, bowling ball inside the 10. First and goal, Washington. They do not have to run another play before the 2-minute timeout. Coleman for a big 10 yards. Williams remains in the game.
I don't think they'll run a play right here, though. Got a first down with Damon coming off the sidelines, and now we'll probably have a chance to get Will Rogers back in there.
2-minute timeout.
After the timeout.
2-minute timeout arrives. Jedd Fisch also has all 3 of his timeouts remaining. He's got the ball in a good spot. He trails 24-19 in his first Apple Cup, but his Huskies are on the move. Jedd Fisch in his very first Apple Cup as the head coach of Washington, trailing by 5, 2 minutes left, all 3 timeouts. First down and goal on the 9-yard line. Jake Dickert, you wonder if they're going to start using their timeouts. They also have all 3 left. Jonah Coleman, the tailback to the left of Rogers. Coleman, patience, and dropped in the backfield. Just made it back to the line of scrimmage. Edson makes the stop. Actually lost a yard. Clock ticking, so I ask you that question, Colt. If you're Jake Dickert, do you start using your timeouts?
Yeah, at some point when this clock goes down below a minute and a half, if Washington continues to run this football, I think you got to call a timeout to save yourself a little bit of time.
We've had 6 lead changes already. Washington desperately wants a 7th. Plenty of time on the play clock, down to 12. Rogers looking left, firing left, knocked away. Denzel Boston almost had it, but Stephen Hall, the captain, makes the play. Clock stops with 1:18 left, 3rd and goal.
And that's a really good play for a couple reasons. Number one, Stephen Hall saves a touchdown right here by Denzel Boston, but he also saves a timeout for Coach Dickert and this Washington State team. Some contact here in the end zone. Stephen Hall gets his left hand inside. Probably not enough to throw a flag right there. Really nice play by Stephen Hall.
2 plays left for the end zone for Will Rogers. Back to the air. Rogers, crosser, Boston! Pushed out of bounds. Denzel Boston got down close inside the 5, gain of 8. 1:12 left, 4th and goal.
Here we go.
Will Rogers said he wanted to come to Seattle to run a pro-style offense and run it at a high level. See what Jedd Fisch dials up for him. 4th and goal, down by 5.
I wouldn't be surprised right here if Dickert lets Washington line up and then calls a timeout to make sure he gets his best defensive play call in.
Here's the ball game for Washington. Going to use one of those timeouts.
Washington has called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Will Rogers jogs to the sideline. Conversation with Jed Fish about what to dial up on 4th and goal from the 2. If they had direct comm here to the booth, Colton, ask your advice. What would you say?
What we talked about, your heartbeat, is your heart racing? Well, I think Will Rogers' heartbeat might be up a little bit right now. But again, he didn't like the look. He's saying, look, they probably had a play designed for a coverage, and he's like, no, let's call timeout. You got a veteran guy as your signal caller. Let's talk it over. And if you're Washington, you got one play to win.
And that one play ought to be Colt.
Look, the two guys who have made the most plays today is Giles Jackson and Jonah Coleman. So if you like the look to run it, I think you feed Jonah Coleman. If you get a man coverage look, right, you got to throw it.
Yeah, don't forget Coleman weighs 230 pounds. He's the back to the left of Rogers. Here we go. They need a touchdown to win, or a touchdown to go ahead. Rogers, option, pitch, didn't get it. They stuffed him. Cal Thornton, the captain linebacker, with a game-saving play and a loss of 1. They dial up the option with the senior quarterback in the pitch to Coleman, but the Cougars were ready. Came up with a loss of 1.
I mean, the 6-year senior, Kyle Thornton right here. Just watch the flow of everybody. They're already into the short side of the field. Washington's running an option route. Kyle Thornton just finds his way, makes sure the quarterback doesn't score, and tackles the running back. You can't ask for much more from your stud, Kyle Thornton. Well played.
Leading tackler last year against Washington. He's gone from walk-on to special teams player to role player to captain. And the biggest moment of his Cougar life just happened. Now, got some ball game left. 1:07. Washington has a pair of timeouts left. Mateer, boy, he just found his way out of the end zone. Gets out a little bit beyond the 1. Timeout called by the Huskies. Javon Parker with the stop.
Washington has called their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:04. 1:04.
All right, Colt, easy to second guess when it didn't work, but what do you think about the play dialed up there by the Huskies on 4th and goal?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, you're running option into the short side of the field with Will Rogers, your quarterback. I don't know that I've ever seen him run the option before, so maybe trying to catch him off guard. Damon Williams might have been the better option there. You got big receivers. Denzel Boston, right? Giles Jackson has made some plays. You got man coverage. Now, I was thinking they were going to take a shot right there.
And into the boundary as well. You don't have a lot of room to work with. Cougars played it in the textbook way. Thornton with the stop. Clock is stopped. 1:04 left. And John Mateer will be standing in his own end zone. Will Rogers, 4 out of 5 in the 4th quarter, leading them down there. Now he just has to watch and hope. Pulawasi, the tailback, but they just move it right ahead, a little bit beyond the 1. Clock stops again with another timeout.
Washington has called their third and final timeout of the half. Timer, please reset the game clock to 1:02. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, we used to call this a bulldog situation, right? You're backed up on your own end zone. You got no room, right? You got to depend on the line getting low, you getting low as the quarterback, and the running back's pushing you from behind. That's a hard one. You only practice that maybe once a year, but good execution there by Washington State. You know, for me, it's like I watched this game. Penalties.
Penalties have been. Washington has been hurt severely. They have 13 of them. But looking at the clock now, 3rd down 11. As you've heard, Washington doesn't have a single timeout left. Washington State will have to do something on fourth down. 1:02 left, so they can't just run the clock out after this third down. See what Jake Dickert does there, but right now it's third down 11. His quarterback, John Mateer, standing in his own end zone. Boy, there was early movement there.
Oh, man, another penalty here.
Offside, defense number 50, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Sebastian Valdez.
I mean, if you had a chance, your chance was keeping them backed up on the goal line. Sebastian Valdez just jumps off sides. He's right over the football. And it's just mistake after mistake after mistake by this Washington defense. All these penalties, it's really hurt them today.
So now converting here. See if they still just go with the quarterback sneak, but third down and 6. Mateer's been running it awfully well. 58 yards rushing. He has Wayshawn Parker now switching over to his right. Third down and 6. A first down would end this game. And Washington might have come across early. Mateer, free play, and he goes with the slide. Now they needed 6. Even if they get the 5, they'll still have third down.
I think Washington actually jumped off sides.
Defense number 94, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Exactly. Javon Parker jumps off sides right there.
So now it's third down and 1, and that was the 15th penalty against Washington. Washington State has 6. So they just gave them 10 yards. Third and 11 becomes third down and 1. Okay, clock ticking now. They get the ball here beyond the 13-yard line. It's ball game. Oh, he could actually just take a knee as well. They could take a knee and run it out on fourth.
Washington State has called their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
That's really good clock management by Washington State. Let the clock run down, knowing now that they're able to just take a knee.
Correction, 32 seconds.
3 years ago, Jake Dickert was the interim head coach in the Apple Cup. He led the Cougars to their only win in this game in the last 10 years. The next day, he was named permanent head coach. He told us this week that was the best coaching moment in his life. Extra emotion there on their sideline as they're all set to run out the final seconds here and enjoy what would be a 24-19 victory in the Apple Cup that would push them to 3-0. John Mateer, victory formation in the Apple Cup, takes a knee. The clock will do the rest. After losing 9 out of 10, penalty markers come out. We've got 2 flags on the field. Some pushing and some shoving there as the final seconds were set to tick off.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 94 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, of course, previous spot, automatic first down.
Fittingly, the 16th penalty against Washington will end it. Jake Dickert and the Cougars come to Seattle, and they will take home the Apple Cup.
This penalty also includes a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 16 seconds.
They get the clock figured out. It will eventually tick down. There it is, 16 seconds left. Will Rogers' first Apple Cup did not go the way he planned. Jake Dickert and his Cougars. Now the clock is ticking. John Mateer, Jake Dickert will celebrate an Apple Cup win over the Huskies, 24-19. Stevenson with the victorious head coach, Jake Dicker.
Coach, first time in 3 years that you get it done for this game. The Apple Cup will be heading home with the Cougars. How?
Grit, toughness. I love this team. They stayed here for this. Sorry, I'm emotional, but I love these guys. They love each other. We said we were going to win this game not because we hated them, but because we loved each other. And that's what you saw there for 4 quarters.
You told us this week that when you won in 2021, it was your favorite football memory. But what's this one like?
This is going to be 1B to that 1A. When you see the hard work that these kids put in, I'm just so damn proud of them. This was a gutsy performance against a really good football team.
Let's start with your quarterback, Jean Mateer. His first start in this game, how do you impact winning today?
Well, when you win this game as a quarterback, you turn into a media legend. So he's in now the Apple Cup lore. He just does whatever it takes to win. And what I love is through every mistake, he never wavered. He just kept bringing it, and that's the gutsy performance we needed.
Now to your defense, game is on the line. How did they handle the moment?
You know what, in that huddle, they never flinched. They really didn't. There was no panic. We said sudden change. We've been here before. They leaned on us a little bit, but at the end of the day, it just takes heart, and that's what our guys have.
3-0, what's led to the successful start to the season?
It really feels good. We're 1-0 every week. We got another big game come back on Friday, but the Palouse is going to party for this one now.
Enjoy it. Thanks, Coach.
Go Cougs!
Zora, Coach, thank you. And I hope he gets a day off tomorrow because I don't know how much coaching his voice can handle.
Man, it just shows you how much these rivalry games mean, right? He coached his heart out. This Washington State football team played so well tonight. Jean Mateer did it with his legs, did it with his arm. Tough loss for Washington, but a big win for Washington State.
Jean Mateer over 300 yards of total offense, and I understand he's standing by with Zora.
Paul, right as Jean Mateer came up, he said to me, this is pretty dope. Why does this game mean so much?
It means a lot to the fans and the people in the building, out of the building. These fans, man, this is real. Like this isn't normal. Like y'all say, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, can I get him this is the trophy.
I got one more question for you before the trophy presentation. There was so much talk about the defense from Washington. What allowed you to maneuver it?
I mean, they're a legit defense. Don't get that twisted, but we had a great scheme. Coach Arbuckle and the players, man, the O-line and the receivers and the running backs, good for them, man. They're good people.
Go get that apple.
His fans are going to show him the way. Jean Mateer from Little Elm, Texas. He was going to play baseball and football at Central Arkansas. Instead, he'll go lift the Apple Cup here in Seattle.
He's a good football player. He shows you know what he can do, right? He scored a couple times in the first half. Really into the second half, he was really just trying to get a little bit more yards for the field goal, and he makes a dynamic play for a touchdown. In the second half, you saw what he can do with his arm. And so really a great job by him, by this football team. And they get to take the Apple Cup back to their school.
All 3 of the touchdowns had Jean Mateer's fingerprints all over it, just like the Apple Cup is going to at some point here this afternoon. A couple of touchdown runs and also a touchdown pass. 116th Apple Cup came down to the final minute, and in the end, it's the Cougars. They've lost 9 of the last 10, but they will take that Apple Cup all the way back to Pullman. It'll be an enjoyable 4.5-hour ride for that. Thanks for being with us in Seattle. There's Mateer lifting the cup. Enjoy the rest of your football Saturday. I'm Paul Burmeister for Zora Stevenson and Colt McCoy. We say goodbye from Seattle. Big Ten Saturday night at the Rose Bowl between Indiana and UCLA on NBC and Peacock.